Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary News Talk live stream pre-stream. Thanks for being here. We got a great show for you today. Update, just checked the Twitch appeal. It seems as though our appeal was rejected, so the Twitch channel is not coming back. It looks like we can appeal it again, so we'll try that again. But this does bring up something I did want to push today, and that is to remind everybody to follow us on Rockfin. Rockfin, as of right now, seems to be one of our better options moving into the future. And, let's just do it, y'all. We have 102 of you who have headed over to the rockfin.com/CCNT. So it's a start, but if there are plenty more of you who should head on over there. So if you wouldn't mind, Rockfin looks to be one of our more positive possibilities, and that would be a wonderful personal favor to me, your best buddy. So I'm popping the link in there, and other than that, let's get this show started, baby. Wee!
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary News Talk.
You're listening to Canary News Talk. Today is September 28th, and we are live to tape on episode 540. And today, pipelines are people too. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live from California, here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomena is Psalm 127:1, at least a part of it. Unless the Lord guard the city, the watchman stays awake in vain.
Ooh, that's a good one.
We've been talking about how so much of what we've talked about over the last 10 years is just mainstream news now.
Yes.
But none of it matters unless the Lord is in charge here. So it's kind of one of those reminders that, we feel like we're right, but really, the word is right, and we're just kind of following along.
The point being, it doesn't matter how right we are if God isn't involved in the process of the actual events. And I think that's one of the things that that differentiates this show from other shows, So not all of their shows. There's some other great, other great shows serving the Lord in that capacity, but certainly not everyone. Certainly not old Joe Rogan or whatever.
There's just certain feathers in our cap that nobody. I mean, we'll get to some of that stuff later, but it's just interesting that what happened to our screen? That's
I don't know. I don't know what that means. What happened to our screen?
I don't know. It just moved into a different spot. Let me just try to fix that while we do other things.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you a little bit of a rundown. If you start that, then we can really get going on this sucker.
Yeah, the rundown. Here we go. The rundown. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Still no rundown jingle. Come on, folks. All right, everybody. Here's a quick review for what you can expect this day. First of all, yes. The emails, the text messages, the DMs come rolling in. Googly eyes are officially part of the future of the technocratic dystopia. But, of course, all done in the name of safety. Next up, believe it or not, that is not the Flippy update. The Flippy update itself will be rolling around showing us that, well, the robots might be catching up in more ways than one. Dun, dun, dun. And then, of course, our first topic, we will be diving into the Nord Stream 2 and 1 pipelines, what that means, how the mainstream media is handling this, and really just the confusion that abounds. Hopefully that will all become clear just a bit. Then we'll be moving into some background on the CIA and their involvement in the metaverse from the very beginning, and their unlikely partner teaming up to bring the metaverse to reality. Then we'll be checking in with the hive mind. Gons will be explaining what a species level brain is and how the elites are, oh man, they're just so excited about it. And then, of course, some more technocracy, a classic moment of failed technocracy, and how the Fortune media outlet wants us to think about that. And then, of course, Armageddon on the way. We've got asteroids and meteors and this Armageddon, I guess.
Bruce Willis,
Bruce Willis,
Liv
yes,
Tyler,
thank you.
let's go.
Let's go. Anyways, all this and more awaits in your near future. After this, our lead story.
Called it.
Vindicated.
Dashboard confessional. Yeah.
So what is it?
It's dailymail.co.uk bringing us an article titled Eyes on the Road. Engineers put a pair of googly eyes on a self-driving car to help pedestrians work out if they have been seen and whether it is safe to cross.
That's what I love about this. It's for the pedestrians. Again, it's for the for the interactions with human beings. That's what the googly eyes are for.
Yeah.
Well, if these cars have any experience like I did, it's probably going to make the pedestrians extremely angry at them for some unknown reason. But tell me more, Gons.
Well, first off, just, hold on. I got to fix your green screen situation. I'll do that real quick. But also, for those of you who just listen to the show, don't watch it, you know that Basil has been in a pair of VR goggles, googly eyes for years now. So
going
just
on 3
keeping
years
that in
now.
mind, as, as when you're listening, he is covered, or I don't know, veiled with googly eyes. Okay, the article states, a comic pair of googly eyes on the front of a self-driving car could reduce traffic accidents, a new study suggests.
Safety.
Researchers in Japan fitted a golf cart with two large remote-controlled robotic eyes, making it look like the beloved children's TV character Brum. Do you know about Brum?
No, I don't know about
Neither
Brum.
do I. We're
Okay.
old people now.
Good.
In experiments in VR, they found pedestrians were able to make, quote, safer or more efficient choices when the eyes were fitted than when they were not.
In experiments in VR.
Yeah, it's a simulation. Come on.
So this whole thing is combining VR, autonomous robotics, and giant googly eyes. So
And the Japanese. So it's really
and the Japanese. So it's like they took
the ingredients of our
they
show.
walked up they walked up to the berry bush that is Canary Cry News Talk. They said, "Oh, look at these delicious berries, Canary Cry News Talk berries." They took all of them. They excoriated the bush and then boiled down all the Canary Cry News Talk berries into a jam, into a delicious, delicious jelly, and jarred it for the future. And that is what this article is here at sciencealert.com. It's Canary Cry News Talk Preserves.
The video is very peculiar, and also, I'm looking at our feed right now where the eyeballs are moving around on that golf cart and being displayed next to your googly eyes, and I gotta say, you got some catching up to do, man. These googly eyes are definitely more powerful and autonomous.
They move. I know. That's what I need. I need some googly eyes that can actually move back and forth.
Look at you. You're already outdated. You need an
I'll
update.
admit. Yeah, I'm a first run at the googly eyes. Yeah, first gen googly eye VR headset combination, and it's probably about time for a Basil 2.0. So if there's anybody out there, in fact, I do know one of our producers who is handy enough, capable enough, knowledgeable enough to build me something. So I might, you know who you are. I might be reaching out, but we've been sort of shouting maniacally into the internet about how it seems popular media and science culture and all sorts of things seem to be taking cues, or at least spiritual influence from what we've been doing for years. And this is one of the most triggering examples of that I can possibly imagine.
I tried to tell you.
Is there any more? How did it work?
According to the researchers,
do people feel safe when robotic googly eyes look back at them? Because this is actually research that we could apply to our own product here.
According to the researchers, pedestrians generally like to look at vehicle drivers to know that they've registered their presence. But in a future where self-driving cars are commonplace, pedestrians won't be able to do this as the driver's seat will be empty. Therefore, having a set of eyes on a self-driving car can help pedestrians judge if they should not cross the road, and in turn avoid potential traffic accidents. There's a bunch of pictures here, and then it goes on, quote, "There is not enough investigation into the interaction between self-driving cars and the people around them, such as pedestrians," said study author Professor Takeo Igarashi at the University of Tokyo. Quote, "We need more investigation and effort into such interaction to bring safety and assurance to society regarding self-driving cars." Society. If there were eyes on self-driving cars in the future, the direction of the eyes would have to be synced up to the self-driving car's vision system. In other words, if a pedestrian were to see the eyes looking at them, they would know that the self-driving technology has, quote-unquote, seen and registered them. And it talks about LiDAR and a little bit more about the study here. But 18 participants, 9 women, 9 men.
It's not enough, but okay.
Aged 18 to 49 experienced 4 scenarios in the VR experience, 2 when the cart was fitted with eyes and 2 when it wasn't. Because you don't want to use real self-driving cars, you might get hurt. When the vehicle was fitted with robotic eyes, it either looked at the pedestrian, registering their presence, or away, not registering them. Participants experienced the scenarios multiple times in random order and were given 3 seconds each time to decide whether or not they would cross the road in front of the cart. Well, obviously, this is like natural human. This is like manipulation at its core. Using robotics to.
And that's always been a part. So this almost was the Flippy update. We have a different Flippy update, but this was a good contender. But it's just, and we could not pass this story up. And I think it's bigger than Flippy.
Sure.
But it does parallel some of the things we've been exploring with Flippy, specifically the social engineering of interactions between humans and robots. And, you throw that into the mix, again, the Canary Cry News Talk, Mama's Jam Preserves, Grandmama's special treat for good boys.
Yeah, okay.
The fact that the whole thing is revolving around the social engineering, the acceptance of robots, and what does it take? What will it take for humans to feel safe around robots? Googly eyes on autonomous driving cars. It's too much, man. It's too much.
It's
my
woke
brain,
too.
my brain cannot latch onto this. It keeps slipping off.
Yeah, it also says here that overall participants were able to make safer or more efficient choices when the eyes were fitted to the cart, although there was a gender split in the results.
Oh.
Woke up, man.
Male participants made many dangerous road crossing decisions, such as choosing to cross when the car was not stopping. But these errors were reduced by the cart's eye gaze.
Wow.
However, there was not much difference in safe situations for men, such as choosing to cross when the car was going to stop. On the other hand, the female participants made more inefficient decisions.
This is not okay.
No.
The descriptions of this is
such as choosing not to cross when the car was intending to stop. But
although
likewise,
inefficient is the most hilarious Japanese scientist misogynist way to refer to to female decisions.
But likewise, these errors were reduced by the cart's eye gaze. I feel like a robot wrote this article. However, there was not. This is repeating itself. I don't know what is going on. Quote, the results suggested a clear difference between genders, which was very surprising and unexpected, said study author Chia Ming Chang.
So this brings up the gaze that I've spoken about before. Now, I've gone deep into the philosophical idea of the gaze. That's G-A-Z-E.
Yeah.
The gaze of another, is how we identify that we are separate from the world. It takes the eyes of someone else looking at us to really see ourselves. These are all things that have been discussed by philosophers for a very long time. And so speaking about the robot gaze, as there is actually a Canary Crime News Talk sticker talking about the robot gaze, spelled differently. Based on that deep dive that I gave, the invention of the gaze of another, the robot gaze having a controlling effect, a calming effect, an identifying connection with each individual human that is then seen by those eyes, is an extraordinarily powerful mechanism that, as we see by yet another scientific experiment, has drastic implications for human-robot relations, tapping into some of the most deep-seated core principles of how our brains work. And it's all in the name of getting these self-driving robots free from the clutches of regulation and things like that.
Sure. Well, they're claiming that this could save people's lives, which you can go ahead and pick up on that sort of argument or propaganda and make it your own thing. See, like your googly eyes, it's just helping people save lives. That's all you're doing.
Overall, I'm having to reframe my idea of how, the world is jacking all of my style. And I'll reframe it. This is a confirmation that the VR googly eyes combination, along with the very specific topics of my career path, all merging together to be sort of a almost, what do they call it? An anthropomorphic field of ideas where I am at the center. And now I shall somehow use this research to better the show. I'm not sure how, not sure if it's done it yet, but I'm working on it, folks. Don't worry.
Yeah, mark the date. More things to go in the Red Book on this momentous Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Hey guys, know what date it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Crime News Talk. Yeehaw!
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
That's right. It is Wednesday. We got a great show. And Gons, today I want to take a little bit of my personal time here to make an announcement.
Announcements.
Yes, the announcement is, it's a request. As always, I'm making a request for a personal favor from the listeners. Here's a question that I have for you, Gons. Are we currently streaming on Rockfin?
We're supposed to be.
Oh,
Unless
no.
I didn't hit a button.
Will you check that button? Because I'm on our Rockfin, and I'm not. Oh, no. It's my bad. Okay. I'm seeing it now.
Okay.
For some reason,
just watching, so I don't know if we're.
Yeah, we got one person over there. God bless you. One person watching over on the Rockfin. As of now, the pre show listeners got to hear the bad news, which is our first appeal to Twitch to try to get our account back after we've been wrongfully banned from Twitch was denied. We were denied the appeal. It looks like we might be able to put in another appeal. We'll see if that actually goes through or not. So we're very sad, very disappointed about the Twitch thing. And I know a lot of producers, a lot of listeners really loved the Twitch stream, perhaps even more than those who love the YouTube stream. So I think I'd really like to get this Rockfin stream up and running.
Rockin' the Rockfin. Rock the Rockfin.
Yeah, as of now, they don't have a perfect track record, but they have the best track record for a show like ours. So I would really like to get the follower count up over there on Rockfin. Don't worry, we do not currently have like a pay-per-view thing over on Rockfin.
Keeping everything free.
Keeping everything free. It's still value for value. You can tip right there on the Rockfin.
Some Ray token.
It's not about that, though. It's just about getting our people. It would be nice if there was one outlet that just we could rely on, that people could enjoy and go to and things like that, and not have to fear disappearing. Right now, I think the Rockfin is it. So if everybody could do just me a personal favor and go follow our Rockfin, that would make me feel good. It's rockfin.com/ccnt if you're on a browser. Of course, they have an app and stuff, I think. But rockfin.com/ccnt. I put it into the chat, and I'll probably do it a couple times during the show because, it's hard. The times have not gotten any easier for us since the beginning. We've tried our best to not be the type of show that needs to be banned or whatever. However, it is just the nature of the world we live in that simply speaking truth. And look, I'm not trying to say that like we're the only ones speaking the truth. I'm just saying, look, we're not trying to spread any ridiculous conspiracy theories. Everything we talk about is on the mainstream media. And so therefore, we're an excellent example of how even repeating unfortunate truths in the mainstream media still gets you banned from the big platforms. So anywho, if you could follow us on Rockfin, that would be just a wonderful gift to me personally.
Good. I want to just call upon the producers.
Producers, assemble!
And we talked about the anthropomorphizing the machines. Mm-hmm. They've been doing that with hurricanes, and they gotta name their pet heart projects. So Hurricane Ian, Category 4 storm makes landfall in near Cayo Costa, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, in Florida. So just a little prayer for people living out there. I don't know how bad it is. I don't know what the situation is, but
we have many producers right in the path of Hurricane Ian. So of course we'll get the producers praying for everybody, every human and every living being in the path of the hurricane, but especially we've got producers who are out there sticking. I don't know what their plan is, but they are. This is where they live. This is where their life is. So we're praying for you guys.
Yep. That's it. That's my little thing.
Great. And with that, speaking of producers, let's thank some execs.
Executive producers.
That's right. We are here to thank some executive producers because we are on the value for value model. It's an easy model to remember because if you get value out of what we do, you can put some value back in with your time, your talent, or your treasure. And that's the only way that this show can and does continue. You think about the advertising industry. What are 3 things that the advertising industry hates? They hate critical thinking because critical thinkers they question what is told to them in advertisements.
It used to be that if you're in a classroom and you ask questions, you're the good student. Now you're the bad student.
No. If you ask questions about an advertisement, then you're probably not going to buy the product, and that's bad for business. They hate buzzkill content because advertisers, they want people feeling good so they can feel good and associate that with the product. So anything that is not just some sort of fluffy feel-good something or other, that's bad for advertising. And inconvenient truths. They hate inconvenient truths.
In fact, that's the Al Gore documentary from '97.
He did a wonderful job of sort of stealing that term. But they hate it when the anti-narrative skepticism, the truths that go against the brainwashing is associated with their product because that puts a skeptical viewpoint on what they're trying to sell. These are just some of the reasons why we don't want corporate funding involved in this show. Not because we inherently go against all of those ideas, which we do, but because once you start taking advertising money, you're then pressured to start conforming to those ideas. You don't want your listeners' critical thinking. You don't want any buzzkill content. You don't want any inconvenient truths. And if you have any of those, we might have to pull our advertising dollars. So look, there's a lot of independent media that claims to be independent, and they still take advertising dollars. In fact, I'm not even saying they're all bad. I'm just saying it doesn't work for me logically, or Gons, that you could both rail against the advertising industry and then also take advertisements. So we don't do that here. What we do is we create value, and we do it as often and as well as we can. And if you get any value out of what we do, dear producer, that you got to put value back in one way or another. And not every producer has to produce every single episode of the show for it to survive. But as long as people are cognizant that value needs to make it back into the system to exist, and they act on that when the spirit leads them to do so, we will survive. And we survive in large part thanks to our executive producers, and we want to thank them now. Starting with executive producer Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas.
There he is. Thank you, Sir Darren. I thought I saw him in Rockfin too, so I think he was one of the first guys in there.
Bless you. Yeah. Sir Darren, he's a knight of the Canary Cry Roundtable. He's an executive producer, and he's over on Rockfin. What a fella. He comes in with a nice round number, and for those who don't know, when you produce the show with a nice round number, that tells us you prefer we don't disclose the amount. If you don't mind us disclosing, just make it a funky amount, make it a funny number. A lot of people put 33 cents or 77 cents or whatever. But yes, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas, comes in, and he has a note here, Gons. And let's start with, he says, need prayers, please.
Producers, assemble!
We do a lot of calling on the producers, so they know to stay focused here. The note continues. In 2020, I was laid off as a result of COVID. Now I work at multiple jobs to make up the difference, but this has taken a mental and physical toll. I need wisdom from God to make some changes. Thank you and have a great day. Okay, so producers around the world, we're praying for Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas, for some wisdom for his career change here. I believe he was the one who said he had an opportunity to work for the man for a lot of money.
Yeah.
A couple episodes ago. And hey, you know what? Nothing inherently wrong with working for the man. It just depends, as long as you're not having to sacrifice your principles and your values and your beliefs. So I'd ask them about that in the interview. Are you going to make me deny Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior and make me hurt people very badly and also something? I don't know. Maybe they will. That's corporations for you. But okay, Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Pandas, we're praying for you, and especially for wisdom and especially for provision during this time, because we like it when our producers, especially our executive producers, are blessed for all the wonderful things they do.
Yeah. We're praying for you, buddy.
We're praying for you. I think that is it. Just one executive producer for today. Thank you very much, executive producer Sir Darren S. Knight of the Hungry Panda.
Where'd you find this?
Okay. I do want to remind everybody. Oh, go to canarycrimemeetups.com just real quick because we got to keep moving.
Canary Crime Meetup.
Go to canarycrimemeetups.com. Check out all the meetups. A very important thing to do. Right now, as we speak, Pizza Rat. It is the first day of the Pikeland meetup, the Mountain View, Arkansas meetup. It's a camping trip that goes today through the 30th. We got a note from Pizza Rat saying, he got there today. He is currently the only person there. I mean, it's a Wednesday. What are you going to do? I hear you, Pizza Rat. He does say, please remind the Pikeland Canarians that their brothers and sisters are in Mountain View, Arkansas, waiting for them to stop being so reclusive. There is phone service if you're a Verizon customer, and the campground and Wi-Fi. If they want to come and kick it and talk about the weird stuff, contact Pizza Rat at surrealgrey@gmail.com. surrealgrey@gmail.com. Or get directions. I'll be here till Saturday morning, most likely, he says. Okay, there you go. Yeah, and he did add that there are Canarians expected to show up today and tomorrow. But just a reminder, if you're in Arkansas near Mountain View, head on over to the meetup there. You can get all the information at canarycrimemeetups.com.
This is fun!
Flippy!
Okay, we're going in. All right, here we go.
We're going in.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We've been exploring Flippy for many years now, just to keep an eye on how robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, the Flippy update is coming from today.oregonstate.edu. Oregon State University.
The Beavers?
What?
That the Beavers?
I have no idea.
I think it's the Beavers.
Well, they're about to change to something else because now Flippy, in the colloquialism of this show and for many years now, is loosely defined as robotic arms, correct? And so maybe we need to explore some other names because the headline here says, bipedal robot developed at Oregon State achieves Guinness World Record in 100 meters. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I guess it has a name. Cassie the robot. This is not a cool name. You gotta call him Leggy or Kicky or something. Cassie the robot, invented at the Oregon State University College of Engineering and produced by OSU spin-out company Agility Robotics, has established a Guinness World Record for the fastest 100 meters by a bipedal robot. Cassie clocked their historic time of 24.73 seconds at OSU's White Track, racist, and Field Center, starting from a standing position and returning to that position after the sprint with no falls. Oh, no, Gons. No falls. The 100-meter record builds on earlier achievements by the robot, including traversing 5 kilometers in 2021 in just over 53 minutes. That's more the pace that I'm looking for, a leisurely jaunt. Cassie, the first bipedal robot to use machine learning to control a running gait on outdoor terrain, completed the 5K on Oregon State's campus untethered and on a single battery charge. Cassie was developed under the direction of Oregon State robotics professor Jonathan Hurst, with a 16-month, $1 million grant from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA.
Wow.
Woo!
Wow, they got their fingerprints all over the place.
Gotta get DARPA in on the spooky running, chase them down in the streets robot. The robot has knees that bend like an ostrich's and operates with no cameras or external sensors, essentially as if blind. Since Cassie's introduction in 2017, then it goes into some other details there. But there you go. We've got a robot, an ostrich robot. I will say, come on, let's not be exclusive here. Emus have the same type of knees. Okay, we're gonna say this is an emu leg robot and can run the 100 meters in 24.73 seconds, which, as I understand it, is faster than any robot and certainly most humans, but nowhere near the human record for 100 meters, right?
Well, Usain Bolt, the Jamaican, has the record, the world record at 9.58 seconds. So, yeah, and, I was going to say that this is first of all, it looks like, for those of you just listening, if like the lower half of an ostrich, obviously there's no wings or head or anything, but it's kind of like a box.
Excuse me.
Sorry, emu. Yeah, emu. And then the legs. So kind of creepy, but also
it's graceful.
It's
beautiful.
A little graceful. Sure. It's tapping into God's design to have its efficiency. But I think this is a great gauge, a metric to track the robot takeover of humans, because the progression, the quantification of that takeover
is quantifiable. How now, how easily they can overtake the human race. The human record being 9 seconds and the robot record being 24 seconds. Getting better, but I think many of us could still outrun this one. At least the fastest of us could.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely faster than probably some children and some elderly folk. And
I'm sure it's faster than me. 24 seconds, 100 meters. I've never actually done that, but who knows? Is that fast or is that not fast?
That's decently fast. I have no idea. I'm not a track and field guy, so I don't know. I don't know what the margin is between just somebody running fast and world-class athletes when it comes to the 100 meters, Well,
I will say the camera guy in this video is
keeping up. I don't know if this is it, though.
Kind of able to keep up. Yeah.
Sure. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. Maybe that's a thing we'll do. We'll get one of these guys and you and I will race them.
Yeah, you know what? Put a chair on the top of this thing. Put a office chair on the top. You can ride this thing around. Yeah, do get a flippy arm to hold my microphone. It's a podcasting exoskeleton.
Yeah,
I think
laugh now, folks, but literally this will become the art of podcasting, mobile podcasting.
I'm already in the VR, man. I mean, I'm here. I'm here as the guinea pig. So there you go. We've got quantifiable data on how quickly these robots can catch up to us, both metaphorically and literally, physically. And that's your Flippy update for the day, or Floppy, or Kicky, or Leggy. I don't know. We'll figure out a name for him. They call them
Cassie, which I don't know. That's a weird name.
Yeah, Cassie. Okay. I don't get it. That's got to be named after some professor or something.
Sounds like a dog.
You're Cassie. Yeah. Sounds like an emu. Maybe I should name the bottom half of the Kevins as Cassie. So they're Kevin and Cassie.
Okay.
But it's not separated between two separate emus. It's separated in the upper part of both emus are called Kevin. The lower part of both emus is called Cassie.
You're labeling the hemispheres of the emu.
Yes, hemispherical names for these emus. I get a lot of guff sometimes for thinking too far out the box, but that's how you fight the mind control, folks. You got to keep them confused, and yourself, apparently.
Yeah, and absurdity becomes reality is sort of
yeah. I better be careful, man.
Better be careful. That's what I'm saying.
The way the world is going, soon there's going to be like, oh, Japanese scientists say that it's way cooler to name the upper top of emus and the lower top of emus 2 different names, and it's going to help the beast system take over. Oh, what a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's your Flippy update for the day.
Russia, Russia, Russia.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
Okay. So let me dominate this first half of show, or this first part of show, just a bit, because I woke up this morning. I have been seeing the tremblings, the rumblings, the hints, the flavors of reporting on this for a few days now. Kind of started on Monday. The reporting has been extremely scant. Just this morning, I read maybe 6 to 8 separate articles on this topic, and it is all over the place. The reporting is all over the place, but I found the 2 best ones that will summarize for us on this show, and there's some very good things to deconstruct here. So we're starting, believe it or not, Gons, one of the best articles on this topic that I found is from Vox, Vox.com. And I'll tell you why when we get there. It's a beautiful, we normally have a lot of fun with Vox, with their basically complete useless nature as a mainstream media outlet. But I was very impressed with this. So here we are, Vox.com, the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage explained.
Oh, wait a minute. I have a different headline, first of all.
They changed it. They changed the headline.
Mine says the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage is a warning to Europe.
Yes. They changed this name in about the last 45 minutes.
And real quick, before you dive into it, the Harvard list of mainstream media, the index of U.S. mainstream media that shows the ownership, Vox Media is there. Vox Media is owned by a number of investors: NBC Universal, General Atlantic, Providence Equity Partners, Comcast Ventures, Daniel Rosenzweig, Jeffrey Weiner, Excel, and then Vox raised more than $300 million in funding, including $200 million from NBC Universal.
Yeah, so thank you for that, because that goes in both into the deconstruction that we have here and a little kicker at the end. So keep that around. We might refer to that again. Okay. So Vox being sort of a conglomeration of funding, influence, well, both private equity, but also from mainstream news outlets, established legacy news outlets like NBC and some of those other ones that you mentioned, Comcast. So it's this weird mixture. Now, Vox, of course, kind of presents itself as edgy, kind of like a Vice thing. It's supposed to be kind of younger, edgy, stuff like that. But it is still owned and influenced by all the lizard people organizations. Okay, so it was called the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage is a warning to Europe. They thus changed the headline in the past 30 minutes to the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage explained. Dun dun dun. It goes like this: European and NATO officials are I usually don't like when you do this, but I'm gonna ask you to do it now. Let me know if there's any big changes in the actual article from what you have in front of you. Okay. All right. Usually I think it's a little bit of an interruption, but I think right now I'm interested to know. European and NATO officials are blaming sabotage for 3 leaks in the Nord Stream 1 and 2 undersea pipelines running from Russia to Germany under the Baltic Sea. EU officials did not accuse anyone directly, but the allegation underscored the uncertainty around Europe's energy standoff with Russia and how volatile the continent's energy security is as winter approaches.
Ooh, winter approaches.
a couple of things I want us to all keep in mind that they don't really mention in here. Number one, at the I think it was in maybe December of 2021 through February when the war started, Nord Stream 2, which is the new pipeline, had a lot of news around it, a lot of consternation between for Europe and their energy sector. This is supposed to be the second pipeline from Russia supplying Europe with energy, natural gas specifically. And there was basically scandal after scandal and connection with all sorts of weird behind the scenes contention and negotiation about the Nord Stream pipelines, even before Russia, the Russia-Ukraine crisis. So a lot of people at the time when Russia invaded Ukraine were talking about the Nord Stream pipelines being a main factor. They just didn't know exactly how it connected. So let's keep going. Officials detected significant drops in pressure in the Nord Stream 2 pipeline on Monday, and then detected another pressure drop on the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. So both pipelines, which were ultimately determined to come from 3 separate leaks. Swedish seismologists have said underwater explosions caused the leak. The Danish military released footage of gas from the pipeline bubbling to the surface of the Baltic Sea. One leak in a major pipeline is a singular event. Another from a twin pipeline in an entirely different location is even more unprecedented. Add that to the fact that both of these pipelines are the source of geopolitical tension spilling over from the war in Ukraine, and it makes it very difficult to interpret this as an accident or a coincidence.
Wow.
And
Go ahead, continue. Sorry.
Vox. Oh, and in case you weren't convinced, the Nord Stream leaks happened as officials inaugurated the Baltic pipe as new gas routes from Norway to Poland. Now, in about a half a dozen of the 8 articles that I read, nobody was mentioning that this happened basically on the exact same day that a brand new pipeline was opened up, inaugurated from Norway into the EU. Now, Norway is not part of NATO. I don't think they're part of NATO, but they're not part of the EU. They're sort of their own country. They don't really do the European thing. And they also, another cool point about Norway, they have the largest national, what is it called? Nuts. Anyways, they basically all the oil, the natural gas, the energy, which was found off the coast of Norway, is owned by the country, and they put it into a fund that they use to kind of take care of the people. That's why a form of socialism works in Norway, is because they have over $1 trillion that they have just sitting in an account that is sort of like public money. So if anybody gives Norway as an example of how socialism works financially, they are ignoring the fact that they have $1 trillion worth of free money just sitting there they can use.
They're the founding member of NATO, right? I think so. It says as founding member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Norway has been an active participant in NATO since the signing of the
thank you.
treaty.
So they're not part of the EU. They were one of the NATO countries, one of the earlier NATO countries. Thank you.
The founding,
which makes this whole thing even more suspicious.
Yeah.
So you have a NATO-owned pipeline opening up on the same day that the Russia supply to Europe gets completely obliterated.
Exploded, yeah.
Suspiciously, yeah. Quote, deliberate disruption of our European energy infrastructure is utterly unacceptable and will be met with robust and united response. Josep Borrell, the EU's foreign policy chief tweeted, quote, deliberate disruption of European energy infrastructure is utterly unacceptable and will be met with a robust united response.
Really?
Good job. Good job, Vox.
Come
you just
on,
put it in there
Vox.
twice. Right now, though European and U.S. officials are calling this a deliberate act, they have not directly laid out the potential suspects.
You mean it? Yeah, probably because it's them.
Exactly. They're not, anything happens, the gas price, gasoline prices go up. It's immediately Putin. It was Putin. It was Putin's fault. Putin did it. The romaine lettuce shortage in Iowa happens. Oh, it was Putin's fault. It's Putin's fault. But the pipeline explodes going from Russia to the EU, completely cutting off their gas supply for going into the winter, and they're not directly saying anything. Officials in several countries, including Germany, Sweden, and Denmark, are investigating the origins of the leak, but unofficially, many in Europe are accusing Russia of the sabotage, given the EU believes the Kremlin has a track record of trying to weaponize energy.
Wait a minute. EU doesn't weaponize energy in their own way? Come on.
Yeah. What they're referencing is, and I think they put it in here somewhere,
it's
or is in it. It was so Moscow turned off Nord Stream 1, actually. So they cut off the gas supply to Europe in August, claiming that they had a leak and they
were fixing it or whatever.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Nobody believes it. Somewhere, I can't remember. I read so many of these articles. I don't know which one had it or not. It might be in this one. But yeah, they basically turned off gas to Europe in August, and it was kind of their bargaining chip. Like, hey, we're Russia. We can turn the energy back on. You're going into winter. It's going to be cold. You need this gas. It's one of Putin's only bargaining chips for Europe. And now it's exploded. Whoopsie daisies. Moscow likely has the capability and equipment to carry out such an operation, and an incentive to keep putting pressure on Europe as Vladimir Putin escalates his war efforts.
They have equipment to make things go boom?
Okay. Thank you. This is showing up in every article. This is a talking point that pops up multiple times is, the Russians, we think they did it because they could do it. They could dive down there and place a bomb. Ukraine couldn't do that. They don't have the capability. It's like, okay, well, before 2 months ago, Ukraine didn't have a capability to launch missiles, like HIMAR missiles. Yeah, they didn't have the training or the equipment. We changed that pretty quickly. Okay, this is to say that Russia did it because they can and Ukraine didn't because they can't is just silly. The Kremlin has called it stupid and absurd to blame Russia for the Nord Stream leaks, and is likely gleeful at the percolating conspiracy theories that blame the United States. So, Vox, even though they're trying to be edgy, they're trying to be, sort of not non-narrative, but they're trying to be young, edgy version of the narrative. Nobody else even mentions percolating conspiracy theories that blame the United States for this sabotage. And of course, any free-thinking person with two brain cells to rub together, the U.S. doing it is the very first thought that you have. It is obvious that it's like they're a prime suspect for a lot of reasons. And we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, the percolating conspiracy theories is hyperlinked to a Newsweek article that blames Tucker Carlson for hinting Biden is connected to the pipeline damage. So
so Tucker Carlson is percolating conspiracy theories. In the immediate term, the Nord Stream pipeline leaks have little impact on European energy security. Nord Stream 2 never opened. And you remember our conversations about Nord Stream 2 and how the U.S. actually was very uncomfortable with Nord Stream 2 because it takes basically it was taking money out of American corporations' pockets because although Nord Stream 1 was running for a while, Europe was getting much of their natural gas from U.S. companies, but Nord Stream 2 would have changed that.
Right.
Germany finally killed the project in the lead up to the Ukraine invasion. So you talk about why, we've heard many theories as to how and why the U.S.'s actions and rhetoric actually exacerbated Putin's invasion of Ukraine or sped it up. You throw Nord Stream 2 in there, and it's not a good look. Russia reduced and then entirely cut off Nord Stream 1 with Gazprom, the Russian state-owned gas company, claiming technical issues prevented the delivery of gas, which no one really believes. Whoever is responsible, the Nord Stream leaks are a signal of just how precarious Europe's energy situation remains. The leaks added to global uncertainty around access to energy and cost. European countries have stored up natural gas and bought replacement supplies at a premium on the global market, but many European industries relied on cheap gas from Russia, and high costs are forcing industry cutbacks and closures, with still unfolding economic consequences. Countries and cities are trying to reduce the demand and blah, 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 blah. So this part, countries and cities trying to reduce demand by cooling swimming pools, turning off traffic lights. Remember last year, they made the laws across Europe that you couldn't build any more houses that had what? Natural gas connections.
Yeah.
Everything needed to be electricity. Even a year ago, they passed a Europe-wide rule that no new buildings could be built with natural gas connections. Weird. It's almost like the destruction of Nord Stream 1 and 2 is sort of fitting in with their
built into the
coincidentally built into their plan that they've been going on for at least a couple years. And there's connections with Great Reset, World Economic Forum, get away from all fossil fuels, et cetera, et cetera. Households across the continent face higher energy bills, even as some fear gas shortages. That's happening without another major disruption. Damaging the Nord Stream pipelines is a warning that any disruption to energy, whether by accident, an act of nature, or intentional, could deepen and prolong the energy crisis in Europe and beyond. Quote, these attacks show that Europe does not have spare capacity in the energy system. It was already running up against that to begin with. Now, this is an enormous vulnerability, said Emily Holland, an assistant professor in the Russia Maritime Studies Institute at the U.S. Naval War College. The U.S. Naval War College is getting in on this Vice article. That's wonderful. Let me go. We're going to skip a whole section here. Wow, I think they added a lot to this. Let's go to why Europe is even more on edge. The Kremlin itself has said the possibility of a deliberate attack can't be ruled out. And spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Russia was extremely concerned. The Russian Foreign Ministry also leaned into a conspiracy theory that the United States is behind the sabotage, fueled by a tweet from a former Polish defense minister and a clip from Biden from February saying Nord Stream 2 would be done if Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, if you follow that hyperlink to the former Polish guy, this was another one of the articles that did a pretty good job of presenting some details that nobody else sort of dared to. So just have that one open in a second here. Oh, geez Louise. Oh, there we go. The U.S. had reportedly warned allies this summer that intelligence suggested Nord Stream pipeline might be attacked. The CIA said this might happen. Imagine that. It might be attacked and has, of course, backed up European allies as they investigate. Some have floated Ukrainian sabotage as a kind of false flag. But experts said Ukraine likely doesn't have the technical know-how or equipment to do that.
Oh, you mean they need more money and weapons from the U.S.?
If only somebody would supply them with equipment and training to pull off literally the one thing that could inspire Western NATO allies to continue pumping billions of dollars into the Ukraine war. There's, If only there was one thing that could possibly do that. But too bad Ukraine doesn't have the training or the equipment. If only somebody would help these guys out. But again, in some ways, the Nord Stream damage matters more for the risk it signals for Europe. And then it just talks about how Europe is in big trouble. So Vox talking about the mentioning the conspiracy theories, just even the existence of conspiracy theories, was a very interesting detail, because the fact is there's not enough information publicly available at all for any of this. All that exists right now are conspiracy theories, and we're in a situation where right now the conspiracy theories make the most sense. So I think as the sort of like edgier, younger version of NBC and Comcast and all these other legacy media, they get to kind of play around with this when nobody else gets to mention it. Now, I do want to point something out at the bottom. Our goal this month: now is not the time for paywalls. Now is the time to point out what's hidden in plain sight. Ooh, some conspiracy theory talk there. For instance, the hundreds of election deniers on ballots across the country.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. Clearly explain the answers to voters' questions and give people the tools they need to be active participants in American democracy. Reader gifts. So Vox is protecting reader democracy by not having paywalls. Reader gifts help keep our well-sourced, research-driven, explanatory journalism free for everyone. By the end of September, we're aiming to add 5,000 new financial contributors to our community of Vox supporters.
Oh my gosh.
Will you help us reach our goal by making a gift today? They're going value for value, man.
Yeah, they're trying to recruit
Vox!
5,000 new financial contributors. That's pretty ambitious.
Can you imagine what we could do with 5,000 contributors?
Yeah, well, look, it says here on the Harvard document that Vox reaches 95 million readers a month. So
yeah, well, that shows how difficult it is to get people to do value for value. If you have 90 million people, taking in your content, and your goal is 5,000. That shows just how difficult the business plan is.
Yeah, that's
okay.
0.005% of viewers contributing financially. It's about right.
So technically, we have higher support than they do.
Well, percentage-wise, higher percentage support.
Okay, now, so it's obvious. Somebody blew up these pipelines. Who does it actually benefit? Who doesn't it benefit? Well, it benefits people who want more war in Ukraine and Russia. And we're out of time for this, but I want to mention a couple of quotes from this Forbes article. NATO says sabotage behind destruction of natural gas pipelines. So they go through some of the similar details that we did, but they have some quotes here from a couple different sources. I'm going 3 paragraphs down here. Some speculated that Russia was behind the attack on its own pipelines. The attack was, quote, probably premeditated and planned for several weeks before it occurred. An anonymous British military official told the Times of London. Great quote. You mean somebody didn't just like drink a little too much vodka and decide out of nowhere to bomb a pipeline? Oh, that's some real hot takes, British military official. But it goes on, quote, this is not some casual terrorist act. It has to be a government, said Michael Clark, a British military expert. Privately, everyone is convinced this is a Kremlin-inspired piece of sabotage. Okay, let's go to this quote. This is not some casual terrorist act. It has to be a government. It is almost implicitly admitting that if terrorism is not done by a government, it's just casual terrorism. Any serious terrorism is done by a government. Think of all the casual terrorism that you've seen and all of the serious terrorism. According to this British official, Michael Clark, if terrorism is serious, it has to be done by a government. And that's all I'll say about that. And everybody else can see how that applies in their own lives and their own country. This next one here. Spokesperson for the blah blah blah. A quote: privately, everyone is convinced this is Kremlin-inspired piece of sabotage. Spokespersons for the governments of Ukraine and Poland agreed that Russia was behind the attack, but Russia could have restricted natural gas flows like it did earlier this month, using an oil leak as an excuse, without blowing up pipelines, which cost over $20 billion and are the only direct means Russia has for exporting gas to Germany. And President Vladimir Putin has made no secret of his desire to continue supplying Europe with natural gas. So even Europe here is kind of like, okay, why would he do that? That was his one bargaining chip. And why would he blow up the one thing he has to sort of, flex on Europe? And then they put in a quote there. The bottom line, Putin was sort of offering gas to Europe even 10 days ago. If the Russians did it, said Clark, quote, this is a strategic own goal because although it increased the sense of isolation that there will be no Russian gas for Europe this winter, it actually destroys Russia's credibility completely with European customers for the next couple of generations. So this guy, thankfully, being like, it doesn't make sense why the Russians would do this. There was one more, the quote from the tweet from the Polish guy. Let me just do a quick find in the article. There it is. This is a little further down above the tweet from Radek Sikorski, MEP. An online debate erupted between senior Polish officials over who is responsible for the destruction. A former Polish defense minister, Radek Sikorski, attributed to the United States the sabotage. Quote, thank you, USA, Sikorski wrote on Twitter. Sikorski was a minister of national defense from 2005 to 2007 and served as deputy minister of national defense and deputy minister of foreign affairs previously. He is currently an elected member of European Parliament. Now, why they called him former this, former that, former this, former that, and passively mentioned he is an active elected member of European Parliament, who's to say? Probably to take a little bit of the heat. You can't have members of European Parliament blaming the United States for sabotaging Europe's biggest access to energy. But okay, Poland's Secretary of State kind of argued with them about it. So even the mainstream reporting from Forbes, which is by no means sort of a voxy type of edgy type of thing, is like, yeah, our readers are not stupid, not as stupid as other outlets think that they are. We need to admit everybody's initial thoughts were that this was the U.S. Who does it serve? Well, it serves the U.S. Because it cuts off European gas from Russia, which makes them rely heavily on American supplies. So that's money. There's also the issue of the Ukrainian pipeline for natural gas, which now there's the Norway pipeline, which just opened the day this happened, and you've got the Ukrainian pipeline that supplies gas to Europe as well, which Ukraine gets financial support for. Don't blow that one up. We need that one. And so it's all shaping up quite nicely, unfortunately, in my opinion, to be a bit of a Franz Ferdinand type of situation. I mean, if there was any one event that could easily precipitate into full World War III, I mean, we've all been sort of looking at the magician's other hand, talking about nukes. Putin says nukes. Putin's into nukes. Putin threatens another nuke. And boom, this is literally the one other thing that could escalate this into full-on World War III, which makes it a bit spooky for me, Gons.
Well, I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'ma set it straight, this Watergate. I can't stand rocking when I'm in here because you're crystal balling so crystal clear, Basil. So while you sit back and wonder why, I got this darn thorn in my side. Oh my gosh, it's a mirage. I'm telling y'all, it's a sabotage.
Wow.
And it's a party.
I thought you were being kind of quiet. Glad to know you used the time wisely.
Go to canarycry.party. Get all the links, how to watch the show, listen to the show, support the show, connect with us and others.
Wow. That's right. Go to canarycry.party. You can find all sorts of great things there. You know about it. You know about canarycry.party. You can listen to Ravel. That's a great one. You can check out the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube. Everybody. Oh, and Odyssey. You should subscribe to both of those. It's clipped out shows. So you don't have to listen to the many hours of this show. You can get little bite-sized clips and share them. That's excellent. You can also join the Canary Cry text message alert system by texting Canary to 877-740-3226. That's Canary to 877-740-3226. Don't worry, we don't take any personally identifiable information, and of course, we'll never sell your number or anything. It's just a way for us to let you know when things are going on and when we're going live. But there at canarycry.party, you can also find the link to the Rockfin. You're gonna want to go follow the Rockfin, everybody, because you know how these things are. We are in dire straits when it comes to being banned, suspended, disappeared, memory hold, shadow banned. The whole thing is not a great feeling and is not great logistically for continuing to do this show. Don't worry, it's still free over on Rockfin. People are under the impression that you have to pay for Rockfin, but no, our show's still free over there. They do have a tipping system if you're into that value for value stuff. It's not showing me that any... Okay, we got five new followers. Folks, come on, that's not enough. I'm putting this into the chat again. Go follow the Rockfin, rockfin.com/CCNT. You might think like, well, I already follow on the YouTube, so why would I need another spot? Well, for the same reason that the Twitch people need another spot. We've already had 2 channels banned from YouTube, wrongly, may I add. We've also had wrongly disappeared from Twitch. It is only a matter of time before we disappear from your favorite outlet. And if you're not subscribed on other platforms, I'm telling you, this is not a personal judgment. I'm telling you, the data shows, because every time we get banned from a platform, there are people who just didn't think about following on another platform, and for months they just think we stopped making content. And you know what? I don't know what to say. If you don't take our good advice, you got to live with it, and it's not our fault. Although it does hurt us. It hurts us very badly. So please follow the Rockfin, rockfin.com/CCNT. And other than that, let's thank some producers, Guns.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Okay, that's right. We're on the value for value model. No advertisements, no affiliate codes, no nothing, no corporate money whatsoever. It's hard times, but you know what? It's the only way to keep this show integrous, to keep the integrity of true independent media, and make it so we're not sort of bending the content of the show to please any advertisers. Plus, just spiritually, it's not a great look to be relying on problematic industries that seek to homogenize all information available to the public, serving no one else but their profit incentives and their lizard overlords. So instead, we're on the value for value model. If you get value out of the show, put value back in. It's the only way we survive. And you can do that a few ways, your time, your talent, or your treasure. But if you want to find more ways to support the show, head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. And we already thanked our executive producer, Sir Darren out of the Hungry Pandas. We got a few more people to thank, Gons. Are you ready?
Ready. Are we doing support supply drop?
You know, we do have one new supply dropper. Why don't you hit the jingle?
Supply drop.
CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Check it out. If you support the show, if you produce the show, you do this because you want the show to continue. For $33.33 a month, sign up over there at CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Not only will you be keeping us alive in the hard times, but you'll also receive free gifts 4 times a year. Custom built, custom designed, producer produced, artist created, made in America, Canary Cry News Talk gear. And we have a new signer-upper here, and I want to thank Lisa A. very much for doing that.
Thank you, Lisa A. Welcome.
Yeah, the Canary Cry calendar will be in the next supply drop, and that is truly not something you want to miss out on. It's one of the most treasured pieces of Canary Cry gear, so check it out. All right, we got Here we go. We're starting with producer Havermeyer from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, thank you, Havermeyer from Charlotte, NC.
There you go. And Havermeyer comes in with 7777.
Lots of sevens.
Yeah. And a note says something to keep the Nephilim penguins in sardines. That's funny. Praying for revival and God to show his glory. Amen, brother. Yeah,
Amen,
thank you very
Havermeyer.
much.
Thank you,
Producer Havermeyer. We've got Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots on a 145 episode streak.
145. Thank you, Sir Morv.
That's right. We've got Sir JC Night of the Techno Squatch.
Did he read his note?
Oh, he says happy WMD.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Talk.
That's right. Thank you, Sir Moore. Next, we've got Sir JC Night of the Techno Squatch, 151 episodes in a row.
1001. Amen.
Thank you, Sir JC.
Yeah, and he comes in with 1001. There is a note here that says, well, it's that day again, my dudes. What Hispanic dish is your go-to when you go out to dish? Go out to eat.
Go out to dish.
You got a favorite Mexican dish?
Ooh, I think I'm just in. I think I like the carne asada plate. Usually that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, you're not doing the burrito, not doing tacos. You're going the straight plate.
Well, you kind of make your own burrito with the plate. That's what I do anyway. Kind of like my own taco burrito thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I actually do have a very specific answer to this question.
Of course.
The shrimp a la Diablo.
Okay. You like devils. You like shrimp devils. This is good.
It's the devil shrimp.
Yeah.
The devil's shrimp.
Yeah. Good. Just
very spicy.
All the Old Testament laws you break.
Guns. We get it. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that is not kosher, but it's delicious. I try it every place that I go.
Give me your devil shrimp.
Yeah, it's kind. Yeah, I'm like, prove it. What do you got? Show me what you got. And I do rate all Mexican restaurants on how good their shrimp Diablo is.
Okay.
So there you go. Thank you for the question, Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch. Malik W comes in, and he's on a 2-episode streak.
Hey. Thank you, Malik.
Yeah, and we are praying for you, Malik. He's one of our producers in the line of sight of Hurricane Ian there.
Right, yeah.
Let's see here. Puddin22 is here.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, Puddin22 comes in with the 1111.
Oh.
11.
Plus fees. And Puddin22 says, hello, B&G. Praying you are doing well. My human has been traveling a lot, so my paws have been tied. Prayers for family and friends in Florida. Like Joey B said, the best way to stay safe in a hurricane is to get jabbed. That's true. Remember that? The best thing to stay safe in the hurricane is to get the vaccine.
That's right. Yes.
Last year, I think.
I remember that clip. That was
what a crazy thing to say. Sleepy Joe. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Puddin22. Glad to have you back. We've got...
Already got it in there, bud.
Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol, 81 episodes in a row.
81.
Yeah!
Wickers.
Oh, yeah!
Man, thank you so much.
Comes in with the pocket full of sevens. Thank you very much for that. I don't think we received a note. However, I will double check because I have missed that before. Boop, boop. 2 seconds. Oh,
2,
goodness
1,
gracious.
0.
Yeah. No, I don't think there was a note on this one.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Sir LX Protocol V2. It's the producer bot. You know him. You love him. Let's see here. Next up, we got Gail M. On 176 episodes in a row.
Women rule.
Thank you, Gail M.
Pocket full of sevens, and there was the discussion about whether she was damed or not, and she says here in her note, "Hey, my Dolce dudes, I haven't been officially knighted because I can't decide on a name. Hopefully by Friday, any help will be appreciated between Bazboy, Dove, Sammy, and Runk Smash. One of them has to come up with something, you think? Love y'all, XXXX. And I had a suggestion. You know, we don't make a habit of picking people's night names, but occasionally people can't think of something. I was thinking maybe Dame Gail, Knight of the X's and O's, or maybe Lady of the X's and O's. That's kind of fun because she always puts the X's and O's in her notes.
Yeah.
Just an idea. You let us know, Dame Gail.
Thank you, Dame Gail.
Yes. That concludes our list of financial producers who come in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. Oh, you know what? By the way, I forgot to say, Sir Darren, our executive producer, he's on a 50-episode streak.
Oh, this is for Sir Darren.
Which is his... Yeah. So Sir Darren, our executive producer, sorry, I missed this, 50-episode streak. That means it's his nifty 50 Juby Jamboree.
Nifty 50 Jubilee, that's what it is.
Sorry about that. A little out of place, Sir Darren, but you
Make
get
it happen.
Okay, here's the ones who came in under 777. We got Runk Smash on a 29-episode streak.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
We got Veronica D on 176-episode streak.
Women rule.
Thank you, Veronica D.
We got Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 200 episodes in a row.
200.
One more until Sir Scott gets his event 201.
Yeah.
But we do have Sir Casey the Shield Knight on 211 episodes in a row.
Oh yeah, streakalicious.
Thank you, Sir Casey. You are streakalicious.
You are streakalicious. Did we decide on what the next streak number for Sir Casey would be?
Nope.
I think we thought 223 because it's 322 backwards.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but you know,
I think we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you to all of our producers. I think it's time to get back to the show. Remember, you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. We'll be thanking those producers later on in the show, but head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, y'all, wake up.
You forgot thank you for your patronage.
Ah, yes.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Now we wake up again.
Yes,
Indeed.
it's wake up time.
Hey, y'all, wake up.
Welcome to the
It's kind of appropriate to wake up twice in this weird inception world that we're living in. But we have some Metaverse updates here. This one's from TechCrunch.com. TechCrunch. The headline: backed by Epic Games, distributed computing startup Hadean nabs $30 million to build Metaverse infrastructure. Or Hadean. Do you think it's Hadean or Hadean?
I have no idea.
Hadean? It's Hadean. Hadean, maybe. Anyway, they nab $30 million to build the Metaverse. find out more about what this is all about. Hadeen, I'm going to say Hadeen.
Just pick one.
Just pick one. Hadeen, a UK-based distributed spatial computing startup that's settled out to build the infrastructure for the burgeoning metaverse, has closed a $30 million Series A round of funding from a high-profile cast of investors, including Epic Games and Tencent. Founded out in London in 2015.
So the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, we'll get more details. Founded out on London in 2015, Hadeen started with a broad mission to put, quote, supercomputer levels of processing power at anyone, or at the disposal of anyone, TechCrunch wrote back in 2017 when the company was still operating in beta, but reported through TechCrunch because they're also controlled and owned by certain particular individuals and groups. In the intervening years, Hadeen has iterated for different use cases and has emerged as a major player in the gaming sphere, in particular, where it powers major hits such as Minecraft.
Ooh.
Yeah, powers Minecraft, Basil. At its
Somebody's
core,
gotta.
Hadeen is all about helping developers scale their code base to support software that requires significant computing power, blah, blah, blah. They talk about MMOs and all the things, the lag, and we got to solve the lag. This is achieved.
Yeah, they're trying to make cloud-based supercomputers.
Yeah, listen to this, though. This is achieved, the solving of the lag, through the magic of distributed computing, with Hadeen's platform eliminating, quote, excessive middleware orchestration and over-engineering, as the company puts it, dynamically provisioning more or fewer resources as a game requires. But the underlying technology can be used for just about any use case, from resource-intensive enterprise application through to Web3, blockchain, and the metaverse. Back in July,
For those who just need like a quick technical review, what they're kind of talking about is allowing your computer to do more and to spend less electricity or computing power doing it by splitting all that computing power between, who knows, maybe thousands or millions of computers. Like, you get millions of computers sharing the load, and you can get sort of much higher performance.
Computing
and
power,
this is nice. I mean, this is basically the concept of Bitcoin or blockchain, where, one computer couldn't keep track of the whole, Bitcoin thing, but you get a zillion of them doing it, and suddenly it's this sort of global supercomputer hive mind.
Right.
And they're doing the same thing with video games, but they're also saying they can use it for other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all data.
They all want to share their data.
They all do. And also, there's a lot of computing, people's hardwares have extra room. Such a waste just sitting there. So it would connect to the hive mind and get paid crypto. There's lots of projects trying to do that. Mm-hmm. Back in July, Hadeen was awarded a contract with the British Army to build a simulated training environment for land warfare. Oh, good.
Oh.
Epic investment. And it's against that backdrop that Hadeen has now secured a slew of illustrious backers eager to get in at an early stage while the metaverse is still in its fledgling years. As the Telegraph newspaper first reported last month, paywalled. I don't know why they told us it's paywalled. Okay. Hadeen initially secured around $18 million in funding from investors, including Chinese technology titan Tencent and In-Q-Tel, a CIA-backed, not-for-profit venture capital firm based in Virginia, U.S.
Oh, what a wonderful group of investors. You've got the Chinese Communist Party teaming up with the CIA to build this global brain network. I love it.
I like that TechCrunch is, the cat's out of the bag. They have to tell you, So they're just letting everybody know.
Although you kind of have to have the background. You have to know that Tencent is controlled by the CCP.
Right.
Wow, that's incredible.
Well,
the CIA and the CCP both getting a hand on this ball.
Yeah, as it transpired, this initial reveal came somewhat prematurely, as Hadean was still in the process of closing the round of funding, which is what it's announcing today. So,
oopsies.
It got out a little early, but everybody knows. The full list of known backers include lead investor Molten Ventures, formerly Draper Esprit, Tencent, 2050 Capital, Alumni Ventures, Aster Capital, Stars, and Gliacels, Entrepreneur First, InQtel, and the mighty Epic Games, which also happens to be a Hadean customer. In fact, Epic Games previously doled out funding to Hadean in the form of a mega grant, which are basically grants to support companies working on projects to help support its Unreal Engine. In an email to TechCrunch, Hadean CEO Craig Bettis, this might be someone we need to start keeping track of in the New World Order Fantasy League. This is a CEO, Craig Bettis, said Epic Games arrived late to the Series A round and so had to invest via a convertible note, which basically means it's a short-term debt that will cover into equity. It's also worth noting that Epic Games recently raised around $2 billion to build what it's touting as a kid-friendly metaverse, which gives
$2 billion. For a kid-friendly metaverse,
which gives a further clue as to why the Fortnite creator is now investing directly into Hadean. See, they're all just working together. It's like the bankers during the oil barons and all that kind of stuff. It's just video games now. Data barons, And then it goes on here. Let's see. This is a quote from Bettis. Hadean's mission is to bridge physical and virtual worlds to help us make better decisions and ultimately improve the quality of our lives in the physical world, Bettis said. Quote, today's virtual worlds are a limited experience, small scale, siloed, and insecure. Sounds like Basil. Small scale, siloed, and insecure.
Goodness. Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, man, you're already in the metaverse, so you're experiencing the small scale. You're being siloed.
Japanese scientists are basing their entire field of work on the themes of my career. Okay, that is not siloed.
Hence why these are the
things that I
challenges.
do on this show steer the direction of beast system science in Japan.
You're showing why you are the king lizard person. This is why you got to wear the VR
I'm just
headset.
saying, I got to stop giving away my good ideas on air.
Today's virtual worlds. Oh yeah, I already read that part. Let's see. Hence why these are the technical challenges we're tackling today. But we believe the true success and mass adoption of the metaverse will rely on the ease by which creators will be able to build their own experience at scale, leveraging open and robust metaverse as a service technologies. And Basil, the moment Facebook changed their name to Meta, we mentioned metaverse as a service, or MaaS, as
that was
the
our
thing.
That was our first prediction when metaverse started becoming a mainstream topic of conversation.
Yeah. So this is just more of an announcement of this group, sort of a hello world for Hadean, as nabs 30 million, backed by a $2 billion raised company, Epic Games, and the CIA and the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, that's great. What a great power team they put together there.
Yeah, they want to build the metaverse for kids. What could go wrong there? Come to this island, children, and learn the secrets.
Okay.
Along those lines, can't really have a metaverse if it's not populated.
Collective consciousness.
This is an article from bigthink.com. Bigthink always had that pure white background interview with all these, the Ray Kurzweil was one of them early on, and a bunch of big thinkers highlighting the future. And this article comes in that future segment of Big Think. And the headline here, we are building a, quote, species-level brain with big data and ubiquitous sensors. Okay. Now, this is an excerpt.
Ubiquitous sensors. That was pretty much the basis of one of the Age of Deceits, Was it not?
Yeah, well, yeah. Part 2, really, the alchemy and the rise of the beast image really talked about that. Just capturing data everywhere, and the whole global brain thing.
A mix between big data, which, we all think that big data has hit some sort of peak, but ubiquitous sensors are really the key to turning it into we did an episode about the sentient world simulation. Mm-hmm. These are all tied together.
Yeah, we've done a lot of data collecting. We just need something or someone to sort it out all for us.
Species level brain. Yeah. It also has some new age. Yeah, the noosphere, the morphosphere, the new age idea of collective consciousness, but just making it real in a technological form.
Yeah, I talked about how each human is going to be a node in the network, and how we're helping build the global brain, that sort of thing. So this is along those same lines. This is an excerpt from a book titled Stories, Dice, and Rocks That Think by Brian Reese. So that's what this article is. I'll read a little bit out of it just to get an idea. Getting clean labeled data with which to train our AIs isn't a difficult task per se. It's just terribly slow and time consuming. Because of this, all the places where we could apply AI are waiting their turn to get their data all sorted out. If all innovation in AI stopped today, we would have decades of work just to do the things we already know how to do with AI. A bunch of slow, ridiculous nodes we are right now. And then it goes into just a little bit of the application of AI, the bottlenecks, and then it goes into sensors open up a vast range of new applications for computers. For example, a typical smartphone has a dozen or so sensors that connect it to the outside world. One of these is a location sensor based on GPS. Many phones constantly broadcast their location completely anonymously.
Oh, sure.
When enough people do this, the traffic flow for the whole country can be recorded in real time. In effect, the computers are replicating our analog world in their digital memory, operating as a sort of digital mirror. So while the traffic flows around the actual streets, it concurrently flows around in virtual ones as well. Of course, it is all just a bunch of ones and zeros, but that is what a digital reflection of our analog world looks like. It's the Matrix, just ones and zeros everywhere.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, they make the sort of assumption that the world that we live in isn't already data. It's analog.
It's analog. The analog is not information. Because if you think about information, the world is built up of information and a design and a purpose and all that kind of stuff.
It's a whole part of the thing. We're already in a world built of information. But now they want to call it analog to sort of change the meaning of their digital world.
Well, they want to fork God's creation. God kind of made the world, and they want to fork it and make it their own. Fork chain. Satan chain. With this digital mirror, the computers can optimally direct traffic for a whole country. Oh, yeah. Think about that. I'm going to skip a bunch of stuff here. Yeah. And then it says this. Imagine for a moment if we produced so many sensors that we were able to log everything. That is, if we created a digital reflection of not just our traffic, but our entire world. What are we likely to record? Everything. Starting with every word you say, every place you go, every step you take, every move you make, every person you meet, and everything they say to you, everything your eye tracks to, along with your physiological response to it. Imagine all the people. Imagine if every breath you take were logged in every beat of your heart. Every object you own would be enlivened with sensors. Your clothes, your jewelry, your furniture, all the way down to your toothbrush. Every pot and pan, every appliance, every utensil will be loaded with sensors that would log the nutrients of every bite you take. When you go to a store, everything you handle but don't buy will be logged. When you dine out, exactly what you ordered and how much of it you ate will be as well. Every interaction with every person, every flower you stop to smell, how hard you clap at a concert, every word you type, every dollar you spend. This will happen not because Big Brother will force it on us, but because we will demand it. If a spoon can keep me from getting salmonella, I want one. If a toothbrush can tell me I'm coming down with the cold, I want one of those too.
But at what cost?
Hold on. Let him finish his argument here. Perhaps this is your idea of a dystopia. I would say a lot of people are reading that going, yeah, sounds kind of dystopic. Mm-hmm. If so, hold on to that thought a minute. For now, just consider the good that it could do. You want to hear the good?
Sure.
It comes at the expense of the shortcomings for humans. Recall the 5 shortcomings of humans that limit our ability to see the future, to be masters of our own fate. We are bad at math, poor at reasoning, poor at collecting data, limited in the amount of data we can handle, and unable to comprehend the complexity of the world that we are in. Computers with sensors are perfect at math and can be flawless in their reasoning. Can they really be flawless in their reasoning? I don't know. They can collect an unlimited amount of data and analyze it as well. And with enough processing power, they can figure out the manner in which everything is connected to everything else. The Googly eyes, Basil. Remember the movie that you watched about the everything, what is it?
Everything, everywhere, all the time.
Yeah, that's what this is. And then it goes into what sort of connections, a little bit of history on some of that, IQ, and da-da-da-da. The digital mirror of our world would have easily uncovered all of the things in the past. So it goes into some of the history and some of the breakthroughs in history and how it took a lot of trial and error and accidents and all kinds of stuff to have those breakthroughs.
And the argument, genocides and
the argument is that you would skip all that. You just get right to the results through this whole world censor thing.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
No one can write down everything they know, and even if they did, who could read it all? Who knows how many times someone discovered the camel dung cure before it stuck? Before, we could only save the really good stuff. So Plato's writings has survived, but his aunt's bunion cure has been lost to the ages. Now imagine if collectively nothing were ever forgotten. Imagine in the life experience of every person who lives from this moment forward were preserved forever. And that data were used to improve the lives of everyone to come. Just think about how life would be different if this technology had been invented 1,000 years ago, and today we lived in a world where our choices could be informed by each of the choices, both good and bad, of the billions of people who came before us. We need the computers and sensors to better our lives, to allow everyone access to the wisdom of the ages. We can't collect all the data ourselves and try to make sense of it without machines because our brains aren't up for the task. And I'm almost done here. Computers can do only one thing: manipulate ones and zeros in memory. But they can do that at breathtaking speeds with perfect accuracy. Our challenge is getting all that data into the digital mirror to copy our analog lives in the digital brains.
Oh, jeez.
Cheap sensors and computers will do this for us, with prices that fall every year and capabilities that increase. Coupling massive processing power with sensors will create a species-level brain and memory. Instead of being billions of separate people with siloed knowledge, we will become billions of people who share a single vast intellect. Comparisons to the Matrix are easy to make, but are not really apropos. Now, hold on 1 second here. It says all this stuff about how our minds will connect and will all feed the global brain noosphere and how we will all benefit from it, And then it says, well, the comparisons to the Matrix, it's easy to make, but it's not really appropriate. It's not the same.
Yeah, and because that would be a buzzkill.
I was going to say that, in the Matrix, the human being is comfortably laying in a jelly egg shell tube thing. I mean, it's very comfortable. And it's just contributing all of its energy and I'm assuming some level of brain power to the AI overlords. So to say that it's not really appropriate to compare the two is sort of a cop-out. And I like how they rationalize this. It says, we aren't talking about a world without human agency, but with enhanced agency, information-based agency. Making decisions informed by data is immeasurably better. Even if someone ignores the suggestion of the digital mirror, they are richer for knowing it. Imagine having an AI that can not only tell you what you should do, but would allow you to insert your own values into the decision process. In fact, the system would learn your values from your actions, and the suggestions it gives you would be different from those it would give everyone else, as they should be.
That's the one. That's the one that'll get people. I mean, it is so common that at a certain age, you're just like, somebody just tell me what to do. This is a sort of human reality that is exploited by our system, by our government, by other nefarious actors, by everybody. The human desire to just tell me the right thing. Just tell me the right thing to do. I'll do the thing that's right. This contributes to all sorts of social movements. We saw this with just some recent medical-based social movements where, you know what? I don't know what to do. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody agrees. Just tell me. If only somebody would tell me the right thing to do. Boom. There are plenty of people who are happy to come and tell you the right thing to do. And they take advantage of that. It's a very normal human thing. And because it's so normal, it's so easy to take advantage of. And the problem is that leads to genocides. It leads to wars. It leads to the oppression of different minority groups. It leads to all. One could say it leads to literally the worst parts of humanity. Is people who give up. They say, somebody just tell me what to do. It's totally natural, but then they do. They let somebody just tell them what the right thing to do is, and they take it as gospel, basically. So why would you let, I don't know, a TV pundit or a politician or a scientist or somebody like that tell you what the right thing to do is, if you could just let some sort of hive mind artificial intelligence tell you what to do? That would be a huge relief for a lot of people.
You sound like a Luddite trying to hold back humanity because, listen, if knowledge is power, such a system is by definition the ultimate in empowerment. Every person on the planet could effectively be smarter and wiser than anyone who has ever lived. I believe, this is the last sentence in the article, I believe this system to be a good thing, and I regard it to be inevitable. Besides,
who told you to believe that? Besides,
what could possibly go wrong? ? Now, I don't know if he's trying to be tongue-in-cheek and just trying to. It's just like Stockholm syndrome. Like we can't escape it, so let's just see what's good about it. Or if he's just really legitimately, genuinely being like, that nothing can go wrong. I mean, it's a good thing. Everybody's going to be smarter. Everyone will live longer, and then we will just slowly cruise into the book of. Yeah.
And if you want to get some background on this idea and hear Gons and I chit-chat about it, young baby Gons and Basil talking about it, you can check out Canary Cry Radio. Remember, Canary Cry Radio is different from this show. This is Canary Cry News Talk. Canary Cry Radio, episode 25, August 31st, 2012.
Woo! 10 years.
10 years ago. Oh, yeah, 10 years and a month ago. Wow. The sentient world simulation. What would you do if you find out you have a virtual double living in a government hard drive? Basil and Gons discuss a program set in motion in 2005 of a virtual world that mirrors physical reality based on the data the Department of Defense has been gathering on people. The virtual world would be used to simulate human behavior and reaction to various situations, such as a natural disaster or impending martial law. This will inevitably be the pure police state the elite have wanted for centuries. It would be a digital panopticon. So, there's nothing new under the sun. And that has been one of our this has been one of the core things as watchmen we've been watching out for for exactly 10 years and a month.
Well, that's also the episode where we mention a worldwide pandemic. Like, what would a worldwide, what kind of data can they gather? And they can do the simulation first to see how we would behave in such a situation. So, we were on it, man. We were on it. And,
maybe we should put it in the show notes or something in case people want to check it out.
And then real quick here, because there's one more thing to discuss here in the segment, and then we'll go into break.
Okay.
Yeah, well, some of that's not working out for some folks. This is Fortune.com, and the headline is, "A classic moment of failed technocracy is rocketing us all toward a global recession," according to Adam Tooze, the internet's favorite economic historian. Never even heard of this guy. Internet's favorite.
I've just been wanting somebody to tell me who my favorite economic historian should be.
Yeah, so this is a few days old, I think about a week old here, but let's just real quick here. Central banks around the world are trying to tame rising inflation by raising interest rates and tightening monetary policy. Wednesday, the Federal Reserve raised its key lending rate by 75 basis points. The Bank of England followed in the Fed's footsteps on Thursday, raising interest rates by 50 basis points. The Fed's aggressive rate hikes have ignited recession fears in the U.S., but Columbia University economics professor and, quote, the internet's foremost historian of money and disaster, Adam Tooze, believes that similar and, quote, simultaneous hikes by central banks around the world might spark a global economic downturn. There is an quote, extremely severe risk of global recession, Tooze told The Guardian in an interview. The economist made a name for himself during the pandemic through his widely read newsletter Chartbook and his data-driven predictions on the future of the global economy, often combined with a historical perspective on what could constitute an economic disaster in the future. It sounds like just a bunch of conspiracy theories to me, but I don't know. Somehow this guy's really favorited. In his interview with The Guardian, Tooze warned that the current wave of rate hiking could play a part in sparking that disaster, saying that hundreds of millions of lives around the world could be altered by a global recession. Quote, "This will mark those people's lives for the rest of their lives," he said. It's going to mark those people, Basil.
We're millennials. Bring it on, bro. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, there's no mark of the beast.
9/11, we were like, 9/11, we were, what, 9 years old or something? I guess 11 years old.
I was old, a little older. I was 18.
2008 recession. I was in college.
Yeah, I was out of college.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to mark people's lives for the rest of their lives. And then it goes into Jerome Powell and how he was talking about they're going to have to bring some pain to get inflation down. Jerome Powell quoted, "I wish there was a painless way to do that. There isn't." And everybody freaked out and sold, sell. So anyway, it's funny because, the technocrats are the ones initiating all this change. And this guy is saying, the technocrats are responsible for the economic downturn. But they're the ones benefiting. They're the ones buying everything on the cheap. So I don't see any of this being a problem for the technocrats. More of an opportunity for them financially.
The elites of all stripes actually benefit from economic downturns more than anybody.
Yeah, because they're the ones with the most dry powder to just jump in on all the distressed assets, and then when everything rises back up, George Soros just owns the UK, or owns the entire industry and that sort of thing.
It's the old saying, I think it's recessions turn millionaires into billionaires.
Right.
Which means you need $1 million going into it to make any progress.
Right.
But, yeah.
There you go. So that's some of the developments in the technology side of things. I did also have a video of a flying man, but we'll skip that because,
that's an evergreen.
People have seen the flying delivery man.
Time. Yeah, for the jetpack man.
Yeah. All right.
Let's take a second and look at some art and some music and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Here we go.
Break.
This is a break. Don't just consume the content, but
Become the content. Become the content.
Take a break.
we appreciate the producers who come in with their talent. It helps us build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. You can participate if you have been blessed with any kind of talent in the arts, and we just ask that it's for the show. And we're going to start off with a speak pipe. Actually, I didn't get to vet this one, but hey, why not?
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com, look for a green button on the right side or the bottom. Click on it, record a message, which does what, Basil?
Lets you leave a message.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you mean you're giving us permission to play the message, but it's not guaranteed.
That's what it is, yes. We have a message from... Oh, where did it go? Thought I had this one. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
so this one's from
few, I think.
Noah C. is this first one I have. Oh, we have more than one?
Yeah.
I only saw one come in.
Yeah, there's one from Rochelle. There's one from Noah. There's one from, I think, the Sentinel.
Okay, we're going to start off with Noah C. here.
Hey, it's Noah again. I forgot in my message, because I was too excited, to say that my dad's podcast
Noah had a couple
Sabbath
messages.
Lounge.
Oh, is that the second one?
Hold on.
Yeah,
that's the second one.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, Noah. I got you, bro.
Yeah, apparently.
I got you. I know what you were. I know what you're leaving this second message about.
Okay, hold on. All right. So, see, what happens is if some of this is opened prior to me getting in there, then it's possible that I don't get to it. All right, here we go.
Starts on the 27th, the first Noah.
Noah C.
Hey, Basil and Gons. My name is Noah, and I'm a longtime Canary Cry listener. My grandma actually told me about you guys back in 2014, 2015.
Propaganda rooster.
But the reason I'm leaving a message today is because I had a little crossover episode of my own life when I heard on Ravel. I have my own propaganda rooster, as you can hear, that my dad's podcast was going to be on it. And to me, that is the most interesting celebrity interaction I've ever had in my life. So I am very excited to hear how that goes. Keep up the good work and think outside the cage.
Thank you very much, Noah.
Should we play that other one that we just did?
Yeah, play the other one right
it's
away.
Noah again. I forgot in my message, because I was too excited, to say that my dad's podcast name is Sabbath Lounge.
There you go.
There it is. Yes, that was an awesome message. I mean, to hear the connections there were really fun. And you hear that he called us celebrities. Isn't that fun, Gons?
We're not celebrities.
If only they knew. Thank you very much, Noah. Yeah, we had an interview with the fellows who host a podcast called Sabbath Lounge. Very fun time, very knowledgeable individuals there. Go check them out. They do a podcast. Some of them are quite fun, sort of short little snippet episodes. And it's sort of revolving around the Torah, the Jewish roots of Christianity.
Did you tell them about your Diablo shrimp habit at Mexican restaurants?
No, I didn't. I'm sure I said something that you can sort of razz me for later, though. You got to listen to the episode. It should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So thank you very much, Noah. Very fun. And everybody go check out Sabbath Lounge, and you can check out the Ravel episode with Sabbath Lounge in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Thank you, Noah C. All right, we got one from Taylor H.
Hi, this is Taylor from Cleveland, Ohio. Been following you guys for about 3 or 4 years now on all your different platforms, and just wanted to thank you for all your hard work and dedication. And I wanted to offer up a little artistic contribution to the show. I was doing some hill sprints the other day. And as I was running up that hill, over the horizon, I spotted a 5G tower. And these words came to me. It's a 5G. It's a little G God. It's the full deployment of the Internet of Things. It's a 5G. It's a little G God. It's the full deployment of the Internet of Things. Love you.
Fun. Thank you very much, Taylor H.
Yeah, just throw a beat under that, and you got a whole message.
It came to him just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
see,
that's
5G. That's how the Spirit works.
Yeah.
No, he was protected by a force field of the Holy Spirit, because we know the 5G that just wipes your brain the second you get close to it.
I was on an on-ramp the other day on the freeways here, and there's a big tree that's obviously a fake tree. That's a 5G tower thing.
Some sort of cell tower.
But it was so obvious. I'm like, why do you even make it look like a tree? Is this just to, who's it going to fool?
So the maintenance guys, they make it not very good, so the maintenance guys can actually find which tree it is.
Oh, please, come on.
You can't make it too convincing, or else you can't find it when you need to go do the firmware updates or something.
All right. Well,
thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor. We got one more from Rochelle.
Happy Wednesday. So, I'm riding the storm out here in the Sunshine State. Back in 2004, we lost power for almost a month. Ooh. Yeah, that was fun. So, just pray for my chickens. Anyway, here's some lightheartedness for my fellow Floridians. So, there's a hurricane a-comin'. Plugged-in battery packs are a-hummin'. Watching the NOAA interactive maps. Letting Mr. Weatherman fill the gaps. Get your shovel, fill a bag with sand. Charge your phone, download your favorite band. But if we really had a clue, Lord, all we really need is you. So there's a hurricane a-comin'. To the liquor stores we all go a-runnin'. We stock up on toilet paper and Pop-Tarts. We hope that the generator from last year starts. Check on the parents and the kiddos before we board up all the windows. But if we really had a clue, Lord, all we really need is you. Stay strong for Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. Wow, we have a lot of active producers in the way of the storm over there.
Yeah, that I know it was supposed to be lighthearted. It gave me the because I was imagining the violent storms, without the sound, but then Rochelle singing amidst it, very Hunger Games-esque.
Well, along
vibe.
with the danger of the storm, Sharknado is trending on Twitter because I guess the storm is so bad it's blowing sharks into the streets.
More predictive programming, man. They thought it was some silly movie, but no, sharks falling from the sky. Watch out, Floridians.
Fort Myers. We got videos of sharks swimming in the streets in Fort Myers, Florida. Oh, there's a kitty here, too. Hi, kitty.
Vote DeSantis. Protect yourselves from the sharks.
Yeah, time to go shark hunting.
That's a good campaign thing there. All right. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Thank you for all the people who sent in a message there. Appreciate it. And let's get into some audio production.
Audio production.
We got a piece from Jonathan F.
Jonathan F.
Sweet.
And Jonathan F's note was titled More Music.
Yeah, more music in the spelling of the internet, more.
Sure.
M-O-A-R.
Except multiple O's, multiple A's, multiple R's.
Okay, let's hear it.
Also gave us a screenshot of, I guess, some tracks to come. So
No, that's the... I've seen this before. I don't know if this is like a well-known thing or not. That's it's a way to structure rap lyrics.
Oh,
so that's
okay.
That's the lyrics of this song in sort of a Excel sheet format.
Is this what the SoundCloud rappers do to
organize
know. Their thoughts? Or what's
I don't know if it's a common thing, but I've seen it before. Maybe John showed it to me. I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'm going to show it on screen here for those of you watching, and I will go ahead and play the track now.
seems like a deficit. Time to go on a journey, exodus, standing close to the precipice. Piercing cry, unedited, Lord come help. Soul is desolate, desperate, asking separate. My sin is great, expectorated, since birthday degenerate. Don't let my fate be a blind dick with burning dead awaits. Or broad gate, you come down, you donated your being to hydrate eternally and liberate. On plate,
you donated your being to hydrate eternally and liberate. On plate. Yo, wait.
All right.
Sick.
Love it.
Excellent. Well, we'll play that during the Canary Crime mixtape. And thank you very much, Jonathan F.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jonathan F. We're going to move on to some art.
One art, please.
We kick it off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
Yes. And it is accompanied by a haiku by Dame Ebony Blaze. No news is good news. Dame Ebony Blaze haiku. Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla has COVID for the second time. Had 4 COVID shots. Feeling well and symptom-free. Nothing to see here.
That's right. Thank you very much, Dame Ebony Blaze. And Dame Allie here has a pencil portrait headshot of Mr. Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer, who, despite all of his genetic upgrades, still seem to catch it. Very excellently done portrait here, Dame Allie. And of course, you zoom on, and you don't even need to zoom in. You see those lizard eyes. These bright-eyed individual. The shading is perfect. The light source is consistent. The glasses are multi-layered. Very well done, Dame Allie.
Yeah, thank you, Dame Allie. Thank you, Dame Ebony Blaze. Continue fighting against the robots. Robots can't make this yet. The combination of this pencil drawing plus a haiku to go with it. They're not sophisticated enough for that, no matter how many sensors they get. So thank you very much. All right. Moving on here, we got one from Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
Here's a note. Peace. For today's artwork, I made a sticker design to memorialize a brave warrior who is no doubt gone on to Valhalla, the Sink Scorpion. R.I.P., buddy. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do. And I'll keep praying for yins.
Oh, Scorpio, what an excellent way to memorialize my Sink Scorpion. Poor guy, he just couldn't hang on. Endless amounts of food and other delightful things, but, a warrior can't survive without a war. And here in sort of a runic sort of Viking font, it says, R.I.P. Sink Scorpion, 2022 through 2022. And we've got a picture here of... Oh, it's bringing a tear to my eye. That's the scorpion. He's got sort of Viking face paint, blue face paint over both eyes.
Yeah,
he's
like
he's holding a Viking axe, and on his shield, it looks like he was part of the Raven clan. He's got the Raven clan
those
things.
are canaries.
Oh, they're emus. No, they're emus.
Are they emus?
It's part of the emu clan.
Okay.
It could be canaries too, but
it's one's Basil, one's me. So
yeah. It's either way. It's the bird. It's a motif from the game Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the Raven clan, but yes, of course, they've been adjusted to fit the canary theme, perhaps the emu theme. Well, you've got to meet him in the field of battle to really find out. And of course, he's got the HTTP canarycry.party in there. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Excellently done. We are needing some more sticker designs. Of course, supply droppers, all these sticker designs, you get a random assortment of these stickers in your supply drop. But we're moving on to Q4, which means we're going to need to re-up on our sticker designs here. We don't want to be repeating too many stickers.
Yeah, well, there you go. Thank you very much, Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia.
Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Excellently done.
Yeah, it's a good memorial picture for Basil. Put on his wall. Put it next to the sink. Every time you go there, you're reminded of the love you shared.
Yeah, it's weird. I went to the sink today, and somebody had sort of carved a statue of Sink Scorpion and put it in his fallen battlefield. I don't know who's doing that, but strong traditions there in the Viking Scorpion clan.
Yeah, the saga continues. Somebody's in there, huh? Your sink.
Yeah, I don't know. The Sink Scorpions, they find their way in and out. I don't know
Sink
how.
Wars. Basil's Sink Wars.
The Sink Wars. Yeah. All right, who do we got? What's up? Who's up next?
We got Microfiction.
Oh.
Microfiction.
Microfiction.
Unless I'm forgetting something. I don't think so. We got one from Rung Smash.
Skulking through the woods, the former FBI agent approaches a compound. She hasn't done field work like this in years, and the thrill of it reminds her of better times before the lizard people. She's brought back to reality by the hard peck of an emu.
All right, more emus.
The Danger Twins, they have arrived. There'll be a nice little emu-based surprise for the supply droppers this in the coming supply drop, Q3.
Now, what sound does an emu make?
Depends how old they are.
Oh.
Their baby voice is kind of just like a regular chirp. Just sounds like a little chirp of a bird. When they get older, they literally sound like raptors.
Oh,
they have this.
I thought you said rappers. I was like, whoa, some emu rap.
No, when they get older, they make a grunt, like a raptor grunt. They obviously took it as inspiration for Jurassic Park, and hisses. They hiss constantly. Yeah, they make terrifying noises. It really spooks people because they sound like really aggressive noises, but it's just how they say hi.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll trust you with those emus, but sometimes
I wonder.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder when it's taken a while for you to show up to the show. It's like, oh man, I'm hoping the emus didn't finally take them out.
Oh, it's usually some sort of emu-based obstacle or inconvenience that makes the show late.
Yeah. Stay out of the, I don't know, emu cocaine that you're leaving out there.
Hey, look, people, sometimes you start a sentence and you don't know how exactly it's going to end, but you just make your way through it. That's part of being a professional broadcaster.
Yeah, emu cocaine. All right, thank you very much to Rung Smash. Thank you to all the producers who come in with their talent. We really appreciate it. It really does. It makes the show more fun, interesting, and it's the communal aspect of it that
it's more. And it's even more about the community. It's the community-based culture is what it's all about. We appreciate it very much. Apparently, some podcasters pay thousands of dollars to create something like that, as far as, art, music, jingles, and they also play ads. So, you know what? It's part of the value for value model, baby.
Yeah, I wish there was, if we're going to do all this AI data scouring type of stuff, can some AI value podcasts based on, stuff
based
like that?
Content and assets, community. Digital assets and community. Something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Probably someday if the technocrats have their way.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Thank you very much to all the producers here. Appreciate you all. All right. You ready to wake up, do a little bit more here and wrap
Ready, Freddy.
Up? Okay, let's go.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Armageddon's on the way.
Space. Wanna go to space?
Yeah. So on Monday's show, a few things happened just during the show that really popped up. It was nice of them to save it for us so we were already live. But one of the things was the Nord Stream explosions. That happened during the show on Monday. The other thing was the DART collide, the NASA DART mission. Now, we've reported on the DART mission before, so longtime listeners will remember this. But it concluded. They wrapped up the mission on Monday, and here's how it ended. SpaceNews.com. DART collides with asteroid in planetary defense test. Ooh. a NASA spacecraft collided with a moon orbiting a near-Earth asteroid on September 26th in a demonstration of technology that could one day be used to protect Earth from a hazardous object. I like that. A hazardous object. NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test, DART, spacecraft hit Dimorphos, an asteroid about 160 meters across, orbiting the larger asteroid Didymus at 7:14 p.m. Eastern. Confirmation of the impact at a speed of 6.5 kilometers per second came from a loss of signal from DART at Mission Control at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab, APL here.
Are you sure it wasn't just a simulation? Do we know for sure that this happened?
I'm not sure of anything, Gons. I'm not sure of anything anymore. The final approach of DART to Dimorphos appeared to go as planned, with no issues reported by controllers in the last hour. The spacecraft was able to autonomously lock onto Dimorphos and target the asteroid, 160 meters across, with a final reported miss distance of only 17 meters from the center of the asteroid. The robots, there's a kamikaze AI was driving this thing. Quote, 40 minutes out, you were really getting a good feeling, Ed Reynolds, DART program manager at APL, said at a post-impact briefing. In the final 2 minutes, when the spacecraft's trajectory could no longer be changed and it showed it to be on course for impact, quote, it was just joy. You got to enjoy the moment. You know what? I believe him. You know, if anybody's ever made a real project out of destroying something, it's really satisfying when it does get destroyed the way you planned.
Yeah, this is not good for the future AI, looking back at history and how robots and machines were treated by humans. This is a horrible piece of...
It's not very socially responsible to do this to potentially sentient beings like AI. Quote, we saw that we are going to impact this asteroid was coming into the field of view for the first time. We really had no idea what to expect, said Elena Adams, a mission system engineer for DART at APL, said, quote, all of us were kind of holding our breaths. DART launched last November as NASA's first dedicated planetary defense mission. The purpose of DART is to test the, quote, kinetic impactor approach to changing the trajectory of asteroids if one was found to be on a collision course with Earth. The impact kicks off a campaign of observations to determine the change of the orbit of Dimorphos around Didymus. Nancy Chabot? I thought it was Nancy Chatbot. Nancy Chatbot, coordination...
Chabot.
I think it's Chatbot. Coordination lead for DART at APL said more than 36 observatories around the world plan to observe the asteroid using optical and radar instruments to measure the change. Quote, we want to maximize what we're able to learn from this first planetary defense mission. So we've kept the international worldwide observation campaign pretty open, she said.
Definitely not the first one, but okay.
You don't think it's the first one, huh?
I don't think it's the first public one, maybe. But
you think they've been crashing stuff into asteroids for a while? You know, there's been a lot of news in recent years about space programs purposefully crashing different things.
Yeah.
You have the Israeli tardigrade crash that happened, I don't know, a few years ago. This was an Israeli... moon observation craft that had a bunch of freeze-dried tardigrades on them and crashed it into the moon. There was another crash.
I think China did one recently. I know when I was... this must have been in the 2000s. I remember they did. This is before... Yeah, there was the bell.
Yeah, we talked about it on the Canary Cry Radio Moon episode.
Yeah, the Moon episode where they crashed into it. And I remember the news was telling us, oh, you'll be able to see the plume. And so, we were all kind of watching, and we were like, there's no plume. What are we... No, come on. That was before we questioned everything. Or at least
I don't know about that, but I do know when they did...
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. I believe you. Yeah. I just don't remember that part. But I do remember them saying that's where the hollow moon theory came from.
Yeah.
We crashed something in there and it rang like a bell. And then, China crashed their thing recently. And then there's the mystery double rocket that just this year crashed into the moon. Nobody's taken responsibility for the mystery double rocket that crashed into the moon. So apparently crashing things up in space is kind of just like a pastime for humans. So I don't know. I'm glad that they had a good time. Mm-hmm. We did receive a message, Gonzo, that we may have a connection with someone who actually worked on the DART mission.
Ooh,
yeah.
Really?
Yes. So we're being gentle. I'm being passive and gentle with this news, but we'll see. We might be able to talk to somebody who worked on the mission. We will see. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We would love to hear more.
Yeah, well, I would love to learn more about what this whole agenda is. Maybe someone mentioned in the chat Apophis 2029. Maybe they're getting ready to do a whole. These are just test runs of the real thing.
Planet X type of thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
but I don't want to close my eyes really, because I don't want to fall asleep. Because I miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing,
Okay. Yeah.
Because even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Why are we doing this?
You don't know the reference?
Is that from Armageddon?
It's the song I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, the first number one hit by Aerosmith.
Okay.
It must have been 1998.
No, I know the
or something.
song. I know you are singing a song.
Yeah, it's the Armageddon theme song.
Oh, it was on the track. It was on the soundtrack. Yeah,
this is Liv Tyler looking at a screen of Ben Affleck and his dad, Bruce Willis, sacrificing.
It's easier to train. It's easier to train drill people to be astronauts than to train astronauts to be drill people.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. They go to the oil rigs to find the guy.
Yes, you got to have. Mission. That was one of the very few VHS tapes I owned as a child. We had the strangest VHS tape collection in my house. We had that one, Armageddon. Mm-hmm. We had the original, early 2000s, late 1990s Hulk movie.
I was gonna say the Swamp Thing, so that was close. Large
it was
green.
Close. Yeah. It was back when the what are they called? Superhero movies weren't cool. They weren't popular. It was pre-Marvel days. Mm-hmm. We had Titanic, the dual VHS set of Titanic, and the Grateful Dead New Year's Eve 1972 or something VHS. Wow. And that was all the VHSs we owned.
Collection.
We just watched those over and over and over. It was a good time.
I don't know how we ever lived in a world where we couldn't just
watch whatever we want.
Well, just drag our finger and fast forward or reverse. Just VHSs, man. Those are the real.
And Phenomenon with what's his name, John Travolta.
Good.
Did you see Phenomenon with John Travolta?
I may have seen it. I don't know.
I don't quite remember it. I think he gets visited by aliens or something, and then gets telekinetic powers and kind of becomes
the one where he's
cult
dressed
leader or something.
Is that the one where it did horrible in theaters and he's dressed all alien-like?
No, that's Battlefield Earth.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is an excellent film. If anybody, Battlefield Earth, you must watch Battlefield Earth if you want to understand just how wild the 90s were for science fiction. I don't even think it was 90s. I think it was 2000 it came out. Yeah. Did you know it's like a parable of Scientology?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Or maybe it's literal. Who knows?
They got real footage from all the
literal telling of Scientology theology.
Yeah, the director of that movie, Roger Christian. Sounds psyop-y, doesn't it? Like,
did you just look it up? Are you Googling it?
Of course I looked. I do not know that firsthand. That's not a piece of information I know firsthand.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you have weird stuff.
That's true.
Cataloged
weird
up
knowledge
there.
bank. Armageddon was June 30th, 1998. I saw that movie on July 4th. It was the first time the movie theaters had like the mega widescreen.
Yeah, when they switched over to the 16:9.
It was bigger than
format.
16:9. It was, or maybe the format
the
changed.
aspect ratio format change. Yeah.
It was huge. The whole wall was a screen. Yeah, the whole deal. So I remember it very well. That and Contact. Yeah. But there you go.
He's a true patriot, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, of course. And Joe Biden warned us.
Armageddon's on the way.
Maybe he was talking about the what is it? The DART? What is it? The DART project, DART mission.
DART mission. Yeah, we are in a weird time of humanity where things that were in blockbuster movies in the 90s, it's only been 24 years since that movie came out. And now it's a semi-reality.
It's been 24 years. Wow.
You can tell the difference. The difference is in the movie Armageddon, we needed humans to be involved in the process. Mm-hmm. Nobody, I mean, I guess it wouldn't make a very good movie if it was just an autonomous AI with no need for humans. It's hard to make an exciting movie out of an AI just silently whizzing through space.
Didn't the movie Armageddon trigger a whole bunch of apocalyptic movies where like every plot, like the movie plots were all the same? It was just either an asteroid or a comet or it was just all the same kind of thing every time.
Yeah, interesting you bring that up. Yeah, did sort of kick off the
end times genre.
The true obsession that Hollywood had with end of the world stuff. Yeah. That movie did so well that they're like, oh, I guess everybody's really interested in the end of the world. Yeah, that kind of kicked off the golden era of apocalyptic Hollywood movies.
Armageddon, the movie, has grossed $553 million, or did gross. That's a lot.
That's a lot, especially for the 90s. Especially for the 90s, that's a lot.
What did Titanic do?
Most of it's VHS sales. See, we don't get that nowadays.
At that point.
98?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yes, they did. Come on.
They may have had it, but it wasn't like the exclusive. I mean, that was like if you had a DVD player in 98, you had a $800 laying around or whatever.
Oh, maybe. Hold on. DVD, commercial DVD year. Let me just see what the interwebs tells us, because we're all going to be smarter with all the data. We will be smarter than any human.
Very important end of show information here.
Yeah, commercially available in 1997.
Yeah, okay. So commercial. So yeah, there you go. They were just out, and it would have been incredibly expensive to have it. Nobody had made the full switch yet.
Sure.
Anyways, yeah, it was probably out on DVD, but I had it on VHS. Okay, because I was a retro cool guy at the time. All right, I think that's it. You good?
I think we're good.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We hope that it brought some sort of value to your life. And if it did bring some value, consider becoming a producer. It's more than just us asking for money. It's your opportunity to truly exercise your ownership over the show. Gons and I are here. We do our part. But the producers of the show truly are the producers. They make it happen. They take responsibility for their part, putting value back in. The value, I would say at this point, at best for us, Gons, we are sharing 50% of the responsibility for the value that this show creates. At best, it's 50-50. It's a good chance that the producers now create more value than we do. But we'll keep doing our jobs if the producers keep doing theirs. Like executive producer Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Pandas, thank you so much. And of course, thank you to the rest of our financial producers for making it happen. If you're interested in this show continuing to live, I will say, like many things in the world today, do not take it for granted. It is not to be taken for granted, the existence of this show. There are active forces moving against us. And that is not to make it a victimhood thing. You all know this. There are active, big corporations working against the very existence of this show. And the only reason that we are still here and the only reason we can continue is through the participation of our producers. And you can do that by heading to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. Your time, your talent, or your treasure. I got a couple people to thank, starting with our Clippies.
Flippy on those videos. Thanks.
That's right. They're the ones that clip all the videos, the segments out and load them up, manage the channel over at the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey. Highly recommend you follow over there. And when you do, leave them a little message and say, Emsworth, Faye Liverin, thank you so much for the good work you do. And on top of that, we want to thank our timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Yeah, the timestampers, again, their work is essential to so much of what this show provides, especially on our back end. Thank you to Jade Bouncerson for the timestamps for episode 539.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And social media.
Social media.
The social media consultant.
Thanks so much.
Social media. Follow us.
Yeah, Dame Miss G of the OV and Deep Rivers. Make sure that all the art from the show makes it onto our social media channels.
Thank you very much.
Real quick, make sure to go to canarycrymeetups.com.
Mm-hmm.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Yeah, right now, as we speak, the Mountain View, Arkansas meetup campout is happening. Pizza Rat is there, anxiously awaiting Arkansas Canarians to show up. Remember, send an email to surrealgray@gmail.com. You can find the spelling of that over there at canarycrynewstalk.com/meetups or canarycrymeetups.com, and go hang out. I know that there are Canarians on their way there as we speak, and it's sure to be a wonderful time. And you can find a bunch of other sweet meetups over there at canarycrymeetups.com. We'll see you there.
This is fun!
I'm wasting away like some sort of particulate digital character in a video game being shut down for the final time, Guns. My body is failing me, and my spirit has long left the husk that once was my mortal coil. But what is that on the horizon? A light, a shining light. That is you, dear listener, leaving a review over on Apple Podcasts. I am so tempted to make this a big, long thing, but here's the thing, folks. We obviously are at the whim of big tech. We are obviously at the whim of manipulation of the algorithms. That does not make it impossible to push through. We can push through. And, I don't know, to some degree, the survival of the show does depend on pushing through the negative forces trying to keep us down. And one incredible way to do that is with a consistent flow of positive reviews on Apple Podcasts. The algorithms cannot deny that when we get a nice collection of ratings and reviews every week, that it starts showing it, shows it to people who've never seen it before. It recommends it to people, and in the past, when we've gotten 5 or more reviews a week, it started to it show it to people. Hundreds of new people every week would find the show. Unfortunately, it's been almost impossible to inspire anyone to leave us enough ratings and reviews. But this week, we set the bar high, folks. We're going for 33 reviews, okay? What does this mean? This is entirely achievable. I'm telling you right now, we can achieve this, and it could break some sort of strange force field around our algorithms immediately. perhaps once and for all. I don't know. But we do have a mobilization of people leaving ratings and reviews. And look, we're going for 33. We thought maybe if anything could break through the Illuminati censors, 33 ratings and reviews could possibly do it. There are people working towards this, but you know what this means? You cannot rely on anyone else to leave a rating and a review. 99% of you listen to this show on Apple Podcasts. That means 99% of you are sitting there thinking, I know this is really important, and like, I don't know, Basil is fine or whatever, or maybe I'm actually one of those people incredibly annoyed by Basil. Maybe if Gons asked me to leave a rating or review, I would. Or, you know, I'm just not like that invested. I know some people are very invested in the show. I'm just not that invested. Look, I get it. If you're not that invested, I don't know what to say. You got to get invested. This makes a huge... Gons, why don't you say something? Maybe they're tired of hearing me whine about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we need is just a certain combination of ones and zeros that just tips in our favor. Right now, those ones and zeros are not in our favor. They are preventing. Yeah. They're preventative ones and zeros. We just need your little fingers there or big fingers, to push on some buttons and make those ones and zeros change directions. It's like changing the direction of the flag when you're out at sea.
Man can still control the robots. For now, we still can influence them, no matter what size your fingers. You heard it straight from Gons. No matter what size your fingers are, go to Apple Podcasts. Any Apple device has it. I don't know why I have to explain this, because most of you know this. And go search out Canary Newstalk, press ratings and review. Leave a rating and a review, preferably a 5-star one. I see somebody maybe missed the part on that one, and they left an incredibly positive review and only left 1 star. I have to assume that was an accident.
Well, you know, when you're stealing friends and family's phones, you may be in a rush. And
I don't know if this was one of those, but that brings up another topic. If you have access to friends and family's phones, probably iPhone specifically, or their iPads or anything, just borrow that phone real quick. Just borrow that phone. Jump onto their Apple Podcast app and leave a rating or review. I'm not afraid to ask for that anymore. I used to say we shouldn't do that, but now I think it might be time to do that. Go ahead. I'm telling you, we might hit this if the people listening right now actually take action. So don't leave it for somebody else. Do it for Gons, if not for me, and if not for Gons, do it for yourself. Ratings and reviews. Thank you very much.
And if you don't,
we will hunt you down and make you pay.
Threats.
Oh, yeah. Well, that worked on a lot of people during the pandemic. So why did you say that again? What was that in response to?
Does it matter?
That was into some casual terrorism, I think. I think there was some casual, not serious, but casual terrorism.
Some Jan 6 stuff. Oh, you know, it might have been. What was it?
I think you're right. I think it was Jan 6.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It all kind of blends together.
Thanks, Jam, for the links. And other than that, share the show. Share it with your friends and family. Thank you to everybody who has been sort of taking my request seriously about interaction with our social media. Yeah. There's a handful of people I noticed over the past few days who got the message and are there and are retweeting and they're liking. And you know what? I know you didn't do that before, and I see you doing it now. So thank you very much for participating in that. That means a lot, and I would request that the rest of you do that. I mean, we've got thousands and thousands of followers on our social media. It's surprising that so little people interact with us.
It's probably because they don't see our content.
You know what?
The ones and zeros.
That's a really good point. That's an absolute good point. A lot of you following us on social media aren't seeing our social media because we're whatever. I mean, what's the word?
Shadow banned?
Not quite shadow banned, but our distribution. as Zuckerberg calls it, they're decreasing our distribution. But again, it's one of those things that likes and retweets and whatever, shares and stuff can break through those things. So yeah, seek us out. Go to our page and start just hitting that like button all over the place. I know it's crazy to say that, and like other shows, they might be way more casual about this sort of thing, but other shows don't have such a tight-knit community, and other shows don't have producers. You know, their producers are the people. Or our producers are the people who are responsible for this thing. So that means a lot to us. Thank you very much. Yep. But share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share. Word of mouth is still the most effective way to spread the good news of a podcast. And here's the thing: you can do it a lot of different ways. You don't have to just share it with an email or a handwritten letter, or put the podcast on a paper airplane and throw it into the Grand Canyon and hope some sort of up gust of wind brings it, cross country to your mom's house or something like that. Those are all very fine ways to do it. But if you want a way that like really shows how unique and tuned in you are, how plugged in to the ethosphere of the hive mind, we've seen it happen over and over and over. And that is all you got to do is put googly eyes on it. Put googly eyes on it. If you're going to share the show, people might be a little bit intimidated by the idea that their mainstream news media, the legacy narrative crafters of our society, might not be telling the truth. That's a scary thought, and people don't like scary thoughts. But the research is in, folks. If you put googly eyes on the podcast, it makes people feel safe. So go ahead, jump on your favorite online shopping platform, head on down to Hobby Lobby. There you go. Support a Christian company, I think. I could be wrong.
That stole like ancient Sumerian artifacts.
Yeah, they did steal. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I really am a huge supporter of stealing ancient artifacts and illegally shipping them out of their country of origin. So go ahead and get the googly eyes wherever you want, okay? Get the googly eyes, put them on a podcast, and show them to your friends, your family. The googly eyes really, that'll make them feel safe. Like they're not really going to be challenging their lifelong programming, social engineering, giving them the cognitive dissonance that they think that their institutions, their governments, their media, the fourth estate might not actually care about their well-being. Put a little bit of googly eyes on it, then boom, it's very off-putting. Not off-putting. It's very what's the word? I don't know. It makes them feel safe. That's not my opinion. That is the OSU, nope, that's not right. Not Oregon State University. That's the engineers over there in Japan that they figured out. You just put the cartoonish googly eyes and booyah, baby. Everybody's going to listen to the podcast, and then they'll remember you, dear listener, as the producer who opened their googly eyes to the fact that the world is not what it seems.
I wonder if when Paul had his scales removed, if it was just like crumbling googly eyes, or the googly eyes were underneath the crusty layer of...
Yeah, that could be it. There's a biblical precedence there. It really is freaking me out that the googly eyes that I wear on this show, I didn't even have the science behind it. I was just looking for a way to not show my face on the internet. And now, somehow, it turns out the entire world revolves around this idea of googly eyes.
Well, also the angels. Remember, the angels had eyes all over?
So many of them.
It's possible that...
eyeballs upon eyeballs. Thousands of eyeballs. That's in a Canary Cry radio episode with Josh Peck, if you want to listen to that. Mm-hmm. Cherubim Chariots. That's what it's called. Cherubim Chariots with Josh Peck on Canary Cry radio. Yeah. I don't know, probably episode like 120 or something like that. Start looking around there.
Throw out numbers.
I think it was somewhere around there. Yeah, all right, everybody. There you go. But if you need any more instructions, we like to call it rattling cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words for the fine people out there?
Yeah. Make sure to celebrate the 1954 convention establishing CERN.
Oh.
Ratified by 12... What does it say? I thought it said commies. No, 12 countries in Western Europe. That's tomorrow, Thursday, the 29th of September.
Oh my gosh.
The portals will open.
Yeah, the anniversary of CERN, Gons knows that off the top of his head because he's got his Canary Cry calendar right in front of him. And you, dear listener, also can get your beloved Canary Cry calendar, chock-a-block full of artists, art, and important dates, not just for the show, not just from the Bible, but also from world history, the history of secret societies, the history of all sorts of conspiratorial things. And while you're at it, you can listen to Canary Cry Radio episode 87, Cherubim Chariots with Josh Peck. There you go.
87, close enough.
It was 87, yeah.
But by the
all
way,
right, everybody.
I think our goal is to... yeah?
Uh-huh.
No, I was going to say...
I was going to say, go to canarycrysupply.com to get your calendar.
Yeah. Very good. Because we're going to try to fill every day of the year with some kind of event on the calendar.
We're working on it. We're working on it throughout the years. Might take a couple of years. The music has ended. So thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Seems like a deficit, time to go on a journey, exodus, standing close to the precipice, piercing cry, unedited, Lord come help. Soul is desolate, desperate, asking separate, my sin is great, expectorated, since birthday degenerate. Don't let my fate be a blind dip with burning dead awaits. A broad gate, you come down, you donated your being to hydrate eternally and liberate on plate.
You donate your being to hydrate eternally and liberate on plate. Yo, wait.
When the news of the day gets to feeling like a maze, it's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry awaits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry awaits. Canary, cry awaits. Oh, canary. Changing every day, each and every way you turn, there's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race till it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry aways. Oh, canary, cry aways. When your brain's in a haze and the headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry aways.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support. Goodbye, everybody. And that's the end. And everyone says, oh, that was fun.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.